Hey YouTube, it's your favorite mega church cult survivor Leah Lauder, and I'm live. I'm live on TikTok and I'm live on Instagram. You know how the drill goes. Dennis, thank you so much for that beautiful gift on TikTok. As you know, I spent 18 years in sorry Insta, I just got a big thing off my arm. As you know, I was in what I thought was a church for 18 years and it turned out to be a cult. Now, since I came to the realization that it was a cult, I've been deconstructing and deprogramming my mind. And as I've been coming online, hey Spice, other survivors have been coming on and speaking their truth. At the moment, I want to say I'm absolutely exhausted. So I don't know how long I'll be able to last on this live, but I wanted to come on and see like how everyone was doing and just share a little something. A lot of survivors have been coming forward. I'm currently exposing my previous church called Lighthouse Chapel International. I'm all right, babe, just tired. And I broke my nail. And there's been so many horrific accounts, man. And you got to remember, I was in this cult for so long. So the people who are starting to come out now, they're people that I knew, guys, that I had relationships with, that I sat next to in the church cult like every Tuesday, and pastors are eating out of the great bowl and forcing them to get termination. So, you know, I don't know how to feel right now. I'll keep it real. Like I'm just, please like the live on TikTok. Thanks. I see you, Rhonda. I don't know how to feel because at the moment, what my cult's looking like is a schmegs cult. That's what it's giving. And, you know, when you look at the power and control will of abuse, thank you, Rhonda, for the follow. When you look at the power and control will, yeah, you see that there's always a schmegsual element to it because of how these preds abuse. So that's like part of that's a reoccurring pattern, and because it's all about power, control, and ego. Thank you, Natalie, for the follow. That model gives us a really, really good lens into why, you know, these very EVIL men feel like they have to control women in that area. And I will go into it. We're going to really unpack the psychology of it as I start sharing the stories of the survivors that have come forward. But guys, get ready because it's going to be absolutely horrific. It's going to be triggering, you know, LP Sasha Elise, you know, Crep's baby mother, who was coming out speaking absolute human fecal matter. Oh, this is the one I got to redo, yeah. It's drawn out like survivors because, for example, the survivor I'm telling you about was just, and you know what? It's a reoccurring theme of baddies. All the beautiful women, the ones that they label as Jezebels, this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. They're the ones that the pastors are eating out of the great bowl. They're the ones that the pastors are taking and using as schmeg slaves. So what it's getting to currently is that when you get someone like Sasha Elise sitting on, you know, the internet acting holier than thou, saying that women who make the decision that they can't go free with their you-know-whats anymore are unalivers. You've got survivors sitting there and watching these so-called fake, you know, holier than thou, sanctimonious, self-righteous. I call them washed up 304s, turned wogs, women of God. Thanks for the follow, Carla. So that brings us to a position where we've got a girl who the pastor's eating out of the great bowl, and then all of the pastors in the institution, including the pastor that used an ABUSE to her, has coerced her into having a termination. Then you've got Sasha Elise there calling women who do up that unalivers. Then she's saying that you've got to do things the right way. So if you've got a pastor who's in the church and he's telling a girl he wants to marry her, wants to do this, he's blowing out the back, he's in all, guys. Oh, and also this pastor was married but separated apparently. What I want to say is I want to do a piece, I think, and I will do a piece soon on like the married men and the trauma bonds, because I don't think people understand how much effing with a married man can F up your mental health. And these men are incredibly unhappy in their marriages. They're unalived inside. So when they get these women, they feel alive. They feel there's been a lot of lies and rhetoric around affairs and mistresses and the process that happens. And I'm so glad that, you know, the Barbara the Builder and the pick me rhetoric has, you know, risen up, because now we've got women saying like, when will you leave? Because you're just getting ABUSE deed. You're teaching your daughter to be a lave, to be an servant, to wear ABUSE as the crown. And because of the cultural, do you know some of the cultural, traditional, tribal things that we've got? It's actually witchcraft, you know that? And I feel that like, a lot of the like tribal cultural things, it's been used almost as like a weapon and a tool to control people, to keep them in these very unhappy marriages. So we need to unpack it. We can't just be like, oh, the devil, Jezebel spirit. We need to unpack, why is this man cheating? Why is a woman allowing the man to cheat, knowingly getting used like a doormat? Like, why would a woman get to the point where she would sink that low to call the mistress of her husband? Do you get what I'm trying to say? So it's like the self-esteem, the lack of self, love, the patriarchy, it's all of that. Do you know what I mean? And it's like we're indoctrinated to believe that we need a man. I don't know why I'm going into all of this chat. We need a man, and I'm not here to like, I'm not like a man HATE or anything like that. I've got brothers. I love, men. But we don't need to decenter men. We need to deconstruct patriarchy and misogyny. That's what we need to do up, because men are the least of our issues. You get what I'm saying? It's the systems and structures that enable, because the men are victims too, because they're indoctrinated. Like for example, DV is in 1 in 4 homes. Scary what goes on behind closed doors. Ooh, and you know what, Rhonda? It's really crazy that you say that, because I've had so many survivors come forward, not only married couples, but like people in relationships, like boyfriend and girlfriend, and they've been putting hands on. I've got pictures, I've got receipts. But because of all of the mitigating circumstances, I'm not about like the clout. I'm not about the fame. And do you know the receipts that the survivors send me, the things that survivors trust to send me? And guys, I don't want to get emotional, because I've been speaking to some RPF survivors and LCF, just loads of survivors, and like the information that they're trusting me with, opening up, like women that are, husbands are putting hands on them, and they're so afraid and scared. They can't go to any authorities, but they're trusting me. They're trusting me, like to speak to me and to send me photos. And, there's people who have shared horrific things and said, Leah, if I was to come out, or if this news were to come out, it would unalive my father. And you got to remember, a lot of these women who have been abused in these environments, especially when we're moving into the BLK places of worship, especially I came from like a Ghanaian cult, and the shame it brings on the family, because there's so much indoctrination. For example, if a woman sleeps with a pastor, and there's just no understanding around coercive control and rape through coercion and things like that. There's a lack of education and knowledge, and the generations after are suffering and paying the price. That's why I said there's a lot of cultural and tribal things that I just think are just like witchcraft, you know what I mean? Just tools of control. I think it's been used to silence us and keep us enslaved. As you know, when these, cult leaders take over our mind, they actually colonize our mind. So you'll see that, guys, when I talk about religion and the canon and things like that, we've got to separate it from Christ, because Christ is not the Bible, and Christ is not religion. FGM, child marriages, and more. Yeah, and this is all work that I need to do, Faith, because when you look at it, this is a global issue, and when you look at women, there's countries with that dynamic already thrive in there. So can you imagine these spaces and places of worship with countries with those laws and those? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, women must be in HELL. And this is why I said this fight is not, they want to make it about religion. And that's why when I first came, I was like, listen, bitch, I'm not making this about religion, because I was in there for 18 years. I can school all of y'all. I could school all of y'all. Thanks for the follow. There's no scripture. There's no false doctrine. There's nada that you could teach me, baby. Because a year after I came out of the cult, I dedicated myself to because first of all, what I did was I deconstructed Christianity through the lens of sound doctrine. So I know all about cessationism. I know all about the different theological ideologies. Am I an expert? Have I had theological training? Hell no. But I was in Dag Heward-Mills cult for 18 years. So when it comes to the false doctrine, like all of the John 3:16s, the Matthew 6:33s, all of their textbook scriptures and doctrines that they're going to use, even if I can't quote it bar for bar, band for band. Thanks for the follow, Akeley Foley. Is it Akeley Foley? You know, I've just got it's like going through the spiritual university. I've got more than a doctorate in false doctrine, right? So when I first spoke out, it wasn't about the scriptures, because I was saying, look, let's talk about the women getting raped. Let's talk about the essay. Let's talk about all the things that are going on in the cult. Then I'll be happy to lead praise and worship. I'll be happy to come and pray. I'll be happy to attend the service. But what I want to do is I want to discuss the ABUSC that's going on, because they love to cover everything with hyper religiosity. When you take away their power from them, which is the ability to manipulate you through the word of God, they are powerless. They have no power. That's why I say that everything's psychological. Example, I was speaking to a survivor today, and he was saying, oh, Lee, I've noticed a lot of survivors come out with, like, you know, cancers and diseases and this and that, and, you know, talk about witchcraft. And I was like, there's that element of it. And if survivors feel like they need to do protection stuff over them, any spiritual practices that resonate with you, I would say just do whatever you need to do to put your mind at peace. Because remember, all of these practices, all of these things that we do, they don't really have power. We have the power. We are setting intentions, whether that's done through manifestations, prayer, whatever they want to call it. Why have a chair? Positive motivation, whatever. We are the ones who hold the power within. And so that's what we need to remember. Also, what I need people to remember, rather than like protection stuff and the power that these people have, is rather we need to focus on internally, and focus on the power that we can draw from within. That's why you can't put a cost on life. When you look at like the BLK market and everything, and the stuff that they're doing with organs, and the prices and the cost of like human life, you cannot put a price on human life, right? Sorry guys, I'm disassociating because it's so deep. It's so deep and it's so complex. And it's like they're so deceived. I mean, the scriptures have just been twisted, but it's been done. Do you know what these cult leaders are like? Do you remember Pinky and the Brain? Do you remember like these, if you think about these evil EVIL, you know, cartoon characters that wanted to like world domination and take over the world, and they're like these EVIL geniuses. Like, and I'm not trying to big myself up, but I'm just gonna keep it real. I don't believe, if God hadn't given me the type of brain, and the intelligence that I have, and I want to say big up all my neurodivergent kings and queens, because, you know, they demonize like neurodivergence and disability and mental health and whatever. But I just want to say, I've got a diagnosis of BPD. I've got a diagnosis of CPTSD. Thanks for the follow, Holy Ghost Impact. I've got a diagnosis of Addison's. I'm also getting assessed for ADHD and autism, which I'm sure I both have. So because of the way my mind works, I was able to clock it. I was able to figure it out. Partly because when you look at the ADHD, the autism, the BPD, I become really obsessive with things. Thanks for the follow, Goldenish. And so what happens is I became so like hyper fixated on it, to the point where I unpacked it so much that I started to like, I've like taken myself through like a degree of like metaphysics and psychology, I believe. Self-taught. But hey, why can't I come out here? And do you know how silly this is? These pastors are like self-taught. Like they say they have this epiphany, like this wake-up call one day, like blah, blah, blah. They had this experience with God. So why can't I say I've taken myself through a psychology uni? Like I've had this, like, do you know what I mean? Now I'm a psychologist. Do you see how like silly that sounds? Anyway, guys, I don't remember what the hell I was talking about. Thanks for the follow. Guys, can I ask that you follow my main page, Leah Lord the 7? Because I have to have 8 accounts just to speak my truth. They try and get me off the net because people listen to me. People are leaving. And the reason I did this, and I came out and I started speaking, and when I realized people were following me, I said to myself, thanks, Goldenish. I said to myself, I'm going to show them that their cult leaders are not the end all and be all. Like, your cult leaders are not the world. Thank you, my love. Your cult leaders are not like, because everything revolves around them in there. So I said, okay, bitch, I'm going to show you that it's going to revolve around me now. Because it's, do you know what? The depth is, guys, like them losing the members, that's a narcissistic injury. Yes, it's going to hurt their pride, their insecurity, etc. But do you know what this is really about? This is really about, like the limelight, like the show coming off them, and also them getting exposed, because they don't like to be exposed. They like these squeaky clean reputations. And these malignant narcissists get a kick out of it, because it's like they're like They act so perfect on the outside, but inside there's just so much EVIR. And today, guys, I'm going to be talking about a really interesting topic because I've been speaking to an OG LCI survivor, and I just want to say, like, if this queen's watching, I don't know if she is or whatever, but she has been taking herself through a grueling process of unpacking the trauma. Morning, user for 571, and just taking herself back to the traumatic experiences, places, and spaces to be able to help me. I don't even know how I'm doing this live. Oh, oh, hey, Miss Rose. I cry like for what she went through. Thank you, Gamer, because like I just can't. I just can't believe the things that I'm hearing, and I've got to process all of this. I've got to come to the realization that I gave 18 years of my life to a cult that just uses the women in there like schmeg slaves. I swear to God, the only thing that saved me is because I came from the streets. That's it. And you know how crazy this is. You know, my boyfriend was unalived by the police. And, you know, I weren't just like, you know, I was really exposed to that life. And I'm quite like an independent, like strong woman anyway. Like I'm very strong. And it's like on top of that, I'm confident and I'm strong and I'm loud and then it was like the streets thing as well, like because the guys in there are just PUSSYs. And they were so intimidated. And that is the only reason I believe that I didn't get used and abused in that environment. That's the only reason. Because I was like a GM without even realizing it. You know, and like, oh God, this is just too much. And then I feel like I wanted to protect them, like, you know, like if they told me, if I'd known, I would have been able to stop it. I literally would have got man them to pull up. I swear to God, I would have got man them to pull up. Like, if it was back then, like 2007, 2009, I would have got man them to pull up. I swear to God. I would have got man them to run up and to say to them, listen, they're nonsense. They're all a bag of nonsense in there. Are you all right? In South London in 2007, are you all right? Anyway, I don't endorse violence. I'm just saying that's how I felt. I just can't believe it. I just feel like how? Like, I was coming every week. Like, I was coming like with around all these women and stuff, and like even down to the pastors, guys. Even the pastors in there have been ABUSED and used and abused schmexually, but it's just all been cover up from the highest echelons right to the bottom. I want to say, like, if you're on my FYP, yeah, or you're listening to me on YouTube, Instagram, whatever, you come across this video and you are a single mum, please stay away from churches for now. For the sake of your child, for the sake of your mental health. And I'm going to do, after I come off this live, I don't think I'm going to spend too long on this live, guys, because I need to come on. I need to warn my queens, man. I need to warn the girls, the single mums. I need to warn the single mums. I need to warn the single mums, guys. Because what's happening is the pastors are sleep graving and they're saying the pretty single mums in the cults, and then they can't look after their kids, guys. Like, after for years, like, their kids are suffering as well. Kids are getting neglected. There's a lot of stuff going on. I can't have it. And I'm not gonna take this on to the point of I'm fine, guys. I'm not gonna take this on to the point of depression level. It's just I have to release this and I have to let it out, because I haven't let it out, and I've just been trying to just speak to survivors all week, and this is my life, man. I won't let anything or come in between me and this collective. There's been a lot of attempts, there's been a lot of tries, and this work is just too important. There's so many people suffering, and I wish I could just forget about it and move on like other people have, but I just can't. It's such a strong conviction. All right, darling. It's such a strong conviction. It's like the magnitude of the EVIL in these spaces is absolutely crazy. And some of the survivors that are coming forward are coming in. Thank you, Curvy Vibes. Some of the survivors who are coming forward and saying I'm just telling you this, Leon, so that you keep going. I'm just telling you this, Leon, so that you don't feel like you're going crazy, and I can't see you out there you're doing it on your own. And so people have come forward. Oh, famous gamer, you're such a PUSSY. Like your mother should have swallowed you. Why are you on here coming and talking? You want to come and talk on here for what? Your life is so human fecal matter that you're sitting on YouTube and talking for what? All because you're from the cult. Baby, I'm just gonna block you. No one's even on here listening to you. You understand what I'm saying? Like, your mum was a HOE. Your dad probably cheated on your mum the whole time. Do you know what I mean? You could barely string a sentence together. You're probably in Ghana broke, like begging for bread. You don't even do you even have money? You're defending the cult. Have you got money? Have you got money to pay your rent? Have you got money to pay your rent? Because you're on here talking. Look at my bed. My bed alone. Do you understand what I'm saying? Go and focus on making some money, baby. Go and focus on making some money. This is the issue. This is the issue, that so much of these individuals in there are just very feminine. Simone, thanks for the follow. Anyway, I needed that little wake up call because I've released and I've let it out, but I do need to expose them, and I do need to talk about the tactics and the stuff that they use. So I'm just going to do that up now. I'm about exposing church cults. I'm about cult psycho ed. I'm about quantum physics and mechanics. I'm about everything and anything that helps myself and survivors to deconstruct and to free us of this indoctrination, because we were brainwashed, right? So I started thinking, I think it was this survivor that I've been speaking to, and she was talking about like the NEGLECT on the body, and then we were talking about how a lot of survivors come out with cancers, autoimmune diseases, a lot of like comorbid health issues. That's what we're finding as we're all speaking. So long story short, I started thinking about it, like, where does this come from? Like, why do we become, let me put these glasses back on. Where does it come from? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, why do we become so ill? And I wanted to try and unpack it. So what I realized was, in the cult, in these church cults, it doesn't matter what one you go to, there'll be a big emphasis on the spirit man, like edifying the spirit man. And there'll be a lot of demonization of the world, because there's a lot of us versus them, a lot of black and white thinking. They think everything in the world is EVIR. They also use a lot of like worldly, you're not spiritual, you're not a strong Christian, like these kind of rhetorics and things. Like, if a girl goes gym a lot, she takes care of herself, she wears nice clothes, it's going to be like you're worldly. You just focus on the outward, you're not focusing on the spirit man. Again, because they make everything external, and this can have absolutely devastating impacts and consequences. So let's break it down and look at why they do this. So what the Bible actually says. So let's look at the scriptures, and then we'll look at like how they twist them and how they manipulate you. So the passages used to justify edifying the spirit man. So the first one is 1 Corinthians 14:2. For one who speaks in a tongue, and then I think 14. For one who speaks in a tongue speaks not to men, but to God. For no one understands him. God, guys, I have to put, this is going to come with a trigger warning, guys. These scriptures are ones that were used to ABUSE us real bad. So even as I'm reading this, it's making me feel a bit sick, I can't lie. For no one understands him, but he utters mysteries in the spirit. He who speaks in an unknown tongue, it doesn't even say unknown, but because I know the version so much, I'm actually putting an unknown tongue there, Jaya. Anyone who speaks in an unknown tongue edifies himself. For if I pray in a tongue, my spirit prays, but my understanding, other versions say my mind, is unfruitful. Okay, so there's this ideology that the mind is unfruitful, and how they package the tongues is huge. It's huge in these church cults, because that's what moves people into mind alter practices so they can teeth and indoctrinate them. But how they sell it to you in there is like, the mind is unfruitful, so it's like a spiritual practice. It takes a lot of concentration to be able to pray in tongues for hours and hours and hours. So it's like a pride and ego thing. Like, I can pray in tongues for 5 hours. I can pray in tongues for 2 days. I've been praying in tongues. It's crazy. I mean, when you step outside of it and you come back in. Another selling point that they have for this, and this is just absolutely human fecal, but like when you hear it afterwards, you do laugh, you have a little chuckle. So one thing that they do up in there a lot, is they'll say like, when you're praying in tongues, like basically you're speaking to angels, so the devil can't understand you, guys. Like, whoo, it is, if that ain't religious psychosis, baby. And you can't find no. Oh, I wish Miss El Rose, are you still on here? Because she went, because it was a bit triggering. You can't find no scriptures nowhere to support this speaking in tongues thing, chair. Not the way they do it up. You can find it to support speaking in tongues with an interpreter, baby. Whenever I've experienced the true real tongues, it's either when I've been in deep worship, lost for words, utterances that are too, I haven't got the English language, and so it just overflows into this unknown language. And when I think about that type of tongues, I want to reference Hannah. when she was praying and crying out to God, you know, for her to have, was it Samuel, a baby, and she started speaking in murmurings and utterings. So we have scriptural evidence that, you know, tongues was around even before, you know, the Holy Spirit and the day of Pentecost, when we move into Acts and all of that. So what they do with cults is they take like very small bits, and then they get hyper fixated on one element of it. So this is where we saw the new religious movement being birthed as a result of this fire moving, spirit falling, miracles and whatever. And that was as a wave of the Pentecostalism new religious movement. That's what we call, there's different names for cults, new religious movements, high control groups. They all have different names. Yeah. So, you know, when we look at cults and how they, you know, rise in power and they increase in numbers and influence, etc., is usually when there's some sort of crisis. Yeah, loads of confusion that they're preaching. It is when there's some sort of like civil unrest, like world global disaster, whatever. Yeah, this is when they thrive. So example, when you look at the timeline of the historical context around Pentecostalism, what you see is that it was birthed out of the midst of really bad like civil unrest. You know, we had the civil rights movement, all of the atheism, the fight for equality, etc. But let's go a little bit back in time prior to that, when let's just focus on America for now, the US lens. Yeah. When we look at like what was it, like Pearl Harbor, the Vietnam, we saw the rise of like the hippie culture, we saw the rise of new age, new religious movements, and very radical, kind of like evangelical, you know, groups. That, so like the 60s, that was when we saw like the first wave of like, you know, all of these miracles and wonders, and then it kind of went into Pentecostalism, all right? But I want you to see that the rise of these NRMs has been as a direct result of, when you look at the trajectory of, you know, civil unrest, economic depression, like big global disasters that are happening, then you see the rise in these religious movements, okay? So this is why it's really great that we have the internet and we're able to have this instant communication, because it rivals their huge cult tactic, which is information control, which those of you that are deconstructing cry, you should have known before I said it. You should know that it's information control. Oh God, do you know what, guys? I've been seeing so many posts on, you know, like like geniuses who like bed rotted until they unalived, suffered with really bad like mental health. You know, like there was this guy that I was looking at, I can't remember his name, but he was some sort of scientist that was trying to create, I don't know, it was something, but it was like lethal. He ended up unalive and testing his own products. Just crazy. The reason why I say that is because I'm quite happy to be, you know, they call me insane and this and that. Yeah, call me Einsteiner. Call me Einsteiner, baby, because it takes Einstein intelligence to be breaking apart these human phenomenons. Man-made religions to control and condemn people. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, look, he's called. Are you a male or a female? I'm sensing masculine energy, but I could be wrong. He's called Unveiling Babylon. I'm not claiming to be a prophet, so if you're a woman, I mean, there's no shame in my game. It's just an educated guess. You know, they love to make it so spooky. Like, I've been speaking to quite a few RPF survivors. Yeah, the RPF survivors are so lit. Like, they really don't care. It's been so interesting listening to how the RPF survivors, you know, RPF is absolute MESS. And later on, I'm going to do a live on them. It's going to go crazy. So, oh, you're female. Wow. But do you have quite masculine energy? Are you like a leader? Are you like a leader? And you're quite like, you know, are you like that? Because I'm sensing masculine energy, chair. All right. I've just like diverted completely, but I hope whatever I was yapping about has helped. All right. So welcome to our little Sunday service. Guys, look at the time. It's 10 a.m. Think about on a Sunday what we would have been doing by 10 a.m. I would have already got up, led praise and worship, cleaned the pastor's office. If I needed to collect or follow anyone up by then, we would have done, did I see Uncle Rob's? We would have done a service by now, and we would have been going into our second service. Do you know, even like just the toll that it actually takes on your body? Because you've got to remember, on top of this, it's not like life stopped and we're not working again. We very much, like, we still have to work, B. And then we've got to come and do all of this stuff up in the cult site. Oh, it's just crazy. Guys, I think what I'm going to do, yeah, is do a little intro. Because it has been a bit heavy. I'm going to introduce the topic and then I'm going to take a break, go and have some brekkie because I think I need to eat. I need to go and have a bagel or something. Give me about half an hour. I'm not going to make it long because guys, if you know, I've got so much content to do. Are you not enjoying the content? Miss L Rose, are you on here? Are you enjoying the content? Let me try and respond to her and see if, no, it's not letting me respond. I've been trying to get out like a lot of content and that, you know what I mean? Because that's very important. People don't always catch the live. So with the content, what I try and do now is if I feel like the live's an important one, they're all important, but specifically important, I try and edit the live, but it takes so long. Do you get what I'm saying? Like it's like over an hour of footage. But anyway, so let's get back onto this spirit man thing and why they do this up. So cults will focus on the spirit man, praying in tongues, and let's look at the scriptures and let's break down how they do it, how they indoctrinate us through this. Yeah, we're going to look at everything. So 1 Corinthians 14, 2, 4 and 14. For one who speaks in a tongue speaks not to men but to God, for no one understands him. But he utters mysteries in the spirit. He who speaks in a tongue edifies himself. For if I pray in the tongue, my spirit prays, but my understanding is unfruitful. Thanks, serendipity, for the follow. And I absolutely believe in serendipity. These verses are the primary biblical basis used by many church cults to say that tongues edify the spirit of the believer, i.e. that speaking in tongues is a way that the spirit prays and is built up. So in preaching, they've described this as like the gym, like when you're going to the gym and like the body, you need to go and work out and, you know, so like speaking in tongues is the equivalent of like, it's like spiritual exercise. I can't believe I fell for this human fecal matter. You got to be young, DU, and be naive, or you got to be in the head as an adult and you're just in crisis. Like either you got had a parents unalived, you've been through a crazy breakup. That's all that's gonna have you sitting in there listening to this human fecal matter, man. Like when I see people, like even I was out with a survivor, yeah. And I goes, like, we saw these, there were like these three women and they just look like the typical type of women in this, like, you know, RPF, like aunties that attend RPF or Redeemed or, you know, Christ Embassy, you know, just them typical artists with the gold jewelry, bleached out. Do you understand what I'm saying? Just you can feel the EVIL emanating and pulsating from their aura. Because that's what the aura is. It's the magnetic field. It's energetic. So there's many different names and in different metaphysics and science, but it is a very real thing. The energetic magnetic field, baby, and the aura is a very real thing. Yeah, that's why people are waking up, because it's repulsive. I used to go see oh God, girl, oh curvy, oh that's why you're so on it. It's terrible there, and I haven't even started to unpack the. You know, like the village cults. I have to say it like this, guys, because you know it's sensitive, but you know the ones I'm talking about, like the proper ones. That's going to be another level, because the ABUSE is just going to be crazy. Unveiling Babylon on Instagram has said we were sold lies. Sunday worship, Easter, Trinity, Christmas, non-biblical at all. And I do agree. I do agree with you. I mean, you know, for me personally, I'm never going to let the magic of Christmas go. They nearly unalived that in me. And I used to be called Mrs. Christmas. Like, I would go to town with Christmas, and they really unalived that in me. So I won't let go of my Christmas. But as we all know, it's all pagan roots, isn't it? Like, East starts from the goddess. And again, I'm not here to demonize, goddess worship. I'm not here to demonize, whatever people are doing. But, those are the origins, and, it's factual. So it is what it is. Do you get what I mean? The reason why I'm not mad at people that are into goddess worship is because I'm a goddess. Do you get what I'm saying? So if they want, there's worshiping me too, maybe. Like, I'm not mad at it. She goes, because I'm not going to be worshiping a goddess, because I am a goddess. So if you want to worship goddesses, including myself, like, I'm cool with that. I'll be over with that, whatever. Guys, you got to love yourself. You got to be so delusional to the point where people are even looking at you like, are you all right? That's the level of delusional that you need to be at. Because in science, they thought that the highest frequency is love, but it's actually authenticity. They've done a new study. But you can't have authenticity without going through the test of self-love. So when you've gone through those tests, you have to give up that, maybe he weren't even toxic, but you had to choose yourself. Because I got into a situation, because I didn't have to let that man go, but I had to choose myself. And what you'll notice is the women that truly love themselves, because guys, everybody's banging on, I love yourself, trauma. Even the Christians are starting to talk about it now, and they thought it was demonic before. Hey, Lara. So the women who have truly loved themselves, what you'll see is like an ascension. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because then after the self-love, you get the authenticity, and that is all to do with the magnetic field, the aura. You can't fake that. You can't fake authenticity. That's why. Because astrologically, we've moved into the age of truth, the year 9. It's the age of Aquarius. Because remember, time's non-existent. Time is relative. The Gregorian calendar, everything they've sold us is lies. So from the beginning of time, like that's why I'm into like Egyptology. I'm into a bit of astrology with the stars and the planetary alignments and things like that, because that is the truth. It's creation. And they used to move in ages and cycles. And that's why in the Bible, they, in that time, that text, they would speak in that way, because it wasn't like, oh, at 9:40 a.m. It was like at the cock of the crow, or at the rising of the sun. They really did depend on nature to speak to them, to understand the movements and cycles and the times and ages. But what they've done is they've demonized it, as they've tried to package religion, because Christ never came to give us religion. He came to break it down and destroy it. And what you need to remember is 1,000 years is a day to God. So it could feel like this has taken us, so many thousands of years or whatever to reach this point. But remember, to God, 1,000 years is a day. So this is the time when it all comes crumbling down. It's the narcissistic collapse. I do believe in Christ, and Christ said that he will destroy the temple and rebuild it in 3 days. But remember, time is not relative. So you can't. So guys, listen to me. If God didn't create time, and time isn't relative, and the Bible has been manipulated and put together and then translated to fit certain rhetoric of that time, they didn't even have days and weeks and all of that there. So you can't take everything in there as literal. It's a code. You've got to go within. That's why there's certain parts of it like that they kept in, it can't be, it has to be revealed to you, like through the Holy Spirit or yourself or whatever it is that you're believing and doing. But there has to be that element with it, because there's been so much tampering with it that you have to go within to allow the spirit to like your discernment and stuff to confirm. Okay, because for example, everything that's patriarchal, misogynistic in there, I don't receive it. I don't care. I'm not. If you're a woman and you're saying that canon is the truth, yeah. If you are saying that as a female, I'm sorry, you're lost. I'm sorry. Because and I'm gonna break down a lot of the things in there that there's no women's rights. It's patriarchal. It's misogynist. I'm gonna break it down. I'm going to do a series on that so women can understand the depth of what's going on here. So they can understand the depth. Because as soon as my child's at an age to understand, I'm sitting there and I'm schooling her. Like, I'm taking her away somewhere for like 3 days abroad. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm taking her away somewhere 3 days abroad, and we'll all be on the beach, and I'm going to teach her. I'm going to teach her like the hidden truths of the Bible. I'm going to teach her like the hidden truths. Like, I'm going to teach her about misogyny and patriarchy. Like, yes, sweetie, believe in it. but still take what resonates and leave what doesn't. And this is why I'm saying to you, this new age of even parents and parenting, it's changed. Like now a lot more parents are not putting their hands on kids because they've seen that these years of putting hands on kids, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't change anything. And it just brings the kids a lot of trauma. Rather, the parents need to learn to control themselves and deal with their own trauma. Because if you put hands on your child, that's you projecting. You have absolutely no self-control. And this is why I'm saying they want to come and be saying I'm a witch, I'm this, I'm that. But baby, I don't put hands on my kids. I don't neglect my kids. I apologize to my kids. I ask my kids for advice. It's a very healthy environment. All right. Let's go to Instagram. Unveiling Babylon. Churches don't like you using your star sign, really. It's a heavenly sign. Ooh, is that what you, do you know what, babe? They've demonized the star signs, but we all know why, girl. We all know why. I saw something where, like, when you look at like the imagery and stuff for astrology, it's just like it's the same as the stained glass windows. Do you know what I mean? Like old, portraits and paintings and symbols. Okay, let me break it down. So before language, writing, because remember, these are all man-made social constructs. So before we could communicate, guys, what were we doing? Before we could write, guys, what were we doing? This is why I had to go into things like symbology. So when they want to come on and be talking, baby, just know who you're talking to. Because for lack of knowledge, our people perish, innit? Because I had to do up symbology to keep my mind, baby. I had to be doing up symbology. You know them ones. I had to go into symbols. I had to deconstruct and break down, like, what's going on with the language in the Bible, innit? Like, what's going on? So when I started to break it down, like, that's why, like when you go back, there's like, it's like in the Neolithic times, they used to like use spirals and symbols. And do you understand what I'm saying? There were no words. So these are all social constructs and all man-made institutions and structures that have been used to indoctrinate us. And that's on period point blank. So they demonize all of the things like telepathy, like astrology, like all of that, because they don't want you to know self. They don't want us to awaken. They don't want us to arise. They don't want us to walk in our power. That's all it is, guys. And I'm not telling you to get into it and do this and do that, but I can that is a truth, that if you come to find in this earth, you will have a peace that surpasses all understanding, because now I understand, I just prepare myself for it, because we live in this world where there's a lot of a lot of uncertain things and stuff going on. So I've got to have that, like, peace is a state of mind. It's mind over matter, and they don't have no peace in there. They can tell you that for God has not given you a spirit of fear, but of peace and a sound mind. They can recite the scriptures, but they have no peace. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's not about the regurgitation and recitation of religious scriptures. It's about internalizing it and embodying it. So when those things happen, you really do have that peace that surpasses all understanding. Do you get it? You're not faking it. You're not faking it to the point where you feel like you're going insane inside and you're like a shell of yourself. You're not doing that up. You're very aware and present and in the moment. But what you do is you learn the practice of peace and patience and contentment and the different flows and cycles of life, and that there aren't mistakes. These are learning lessons for growth and ascension and evolution and maturity. Then your life, I don't see how that can be evil. Even when I'm listening, like at the moment, there's a frequency in the back, yeah? Even when I'm listening to this, like, there's times, guys, when my mind, I've spoken to like 4 survivors. I've heard about survivors getting eaten out of the Great Bowl, essay, all of this stuff. And I just feel like I'm just going to lose my mind. I'm just like, whoa. And I put this on. Close my eyes. Breathe in. And that's when I feel a peace that surpasses all understanding. That helps me to not feel like ending it all. That helps me to ground my mind and my spirit. That helps me to just have that little peace where there's not so many things going around in my head, even if it's for 3 minutes of the day. They have no peace in there. And then they're calling this demonic. Baby, I'm not. 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 I'm What? Frequencies are scientific, baby. If you want to listen to the radio, you got to turn on the frequency. You guys, come on, we got to open our eyes, man. Okay, unveiling Babylon. Like Jesus gave us the crystals, not for worship, but helping us. In Revelations 21, it showed heaven with crystals all there. Oh, unveiling Babylon. I love how this is lovely. Because I love crystals. I'm a crystal girl. Like, I love it. And, you know, I think when I think about what's on the other side, like, you know, whether that's heaven, people call it all different things, whatever. I see, like, you know how, do you know what I think is really funny? You know how they've been demonizing crystals and stuff, and they say, like, you know, like people who like crystals and whatever, or work with crystals or whatever, that they worship them, they just have no idea. Anyway, I said to myself, it's so crazy, yeah, because do you know why I called okay, oh god, I shouldn't, my husband said I shouldn't think, but anyway, I mean, like, yeah, my daughter's name is Sapphire, my eldest daughter, and the reason that I called her Sapphire is because I think it's in both Revelations and Ezekiel. I remember when I heard the scripture about God in the highest place in heaven, in his throne room. He sits on his throne chair, and in the throne room of God, the whole paving of the floor is covered in sapphire crystal. Yeah, because we all know that gems are crystals. The crystals are the raw forms of the gems that everybody wears. So they're all wearing crystals. They don't even know it. So it's just human fecal matter. It's all nonsensical. It's all nonsensical. So I imagine, like, you know, these big, huge crystals, like as big as mountains, you know, amethysts and just beautiful crystals that just look like, you know, like you don't even have the words to describe. So I'm like, all of these people that are like demonizing crystals and saying that they're evil, how are they going to be in heaven? Because in the throne room of God, there's a big crystal flooring, because they don't understand about energies and properties. So unveiling Babylon, we would understand why God would have the amethyst, isn't it? Because of the properties and everything, why that would be at the feet of God. So do you understand that when you don't demonize what you don't know, and instead you're open to knowledge, because we know that for lack of knowledge our people perish, what you understand is, and I'm not going to reveal the reason, but there is a reason why God's in the throne room is amethysts that are covered underneath his feet, and the properties. Do you know how powerful that is, to have your feet grounded on a paved flooring of amethyst? I mean, it's out of this world, and it must look, you know, like see-through. So I don't know, my mind, you know, my imagination is absolutely blown when I come to visualize, you know, these huge crystals and stuff up there. And then unveiling Babylon also said King David wore a crystal and the Levites wore them too. Yeah. So the Levite priest, isn't it? It was, what was it called? The breastplate. The priests. What was it called again? Was it the breastplate? Where they had all the different crystals on it. The Levite priest used to wear it. I'm sure it was the breastplate. I can't remember exactly, but it's the breastplate or something. And I actually put up a picture and on one of my lives before, and I said, if they didn't know this was one of the Levite priests' breastplate thing that they used to wear their garments, they would say that this is demonic. Like if I came on the live sitting with a replica, the ephod, ooh, unveiling Babylon, we need to talk. You got a lot of knowledge, man. Message me up. She said yes, ephod. Is it ephod or epod? Which one is it, ephod or epod, the first or second? Ooh, she's got knowledge, boy. So it's got, like, how many crystals has it got on there? It's got onyx, it's got a jasper, hasn't it? So many. So if I come and I sit on here now with my jasper crystal, I'm demonic. Oh my God. So what are you going to tell the Levite priest in heaven when you get there? What are you going to tell the Levite priest in heaven? What are you going to tell to God himself, where he's sitting in the throne room with the sapphire, the paid sapphires on his feet? What are you going to tell God? It's nonsensical, absolute nonsense. And, you know, guys, I just think that in 2026, we've just got to wake up and smell the fresh coffee. Do you know what I mean, Babylon? She said, yes, 12. Okay. All right. So with the Levite priests, they wore the ephods, which it was like this, it was supposed to, what was it, like the breastplate, and there's 12 crystals for each of the tribes of Israel. So God gave a crystal to represent each of the tribes of Israel. But not only that, crystals have natural properties, healing powers, etc. It's not that you're putting the power or you're worshipping the crystal. That's not what it is at all. Because and this is what I'm saying, this is the reason why y'all are perishing and the mugs and whatever are getting exposed, because they're demonizing things that God himself doesn't see as demonic. So they're making themselves above and greater than God. How can you do that? How can you do that? Because God himself is sitting, he's got in the throne room of God, he's got the paved sapphires. Who's requesting? What do you want to say? Oh, I'm just going to block you, Chair, because I don't like your spirit. I don't like the vibe. I don't like the energy I'm getting from you. So I'm just going to go ahead and block you. Because I don't need you to say a word. I'm very spiritual. All right. So that's a very interesting conversation, though, isn't it? Because I don't ramp. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not, I'm not outside to play games in the cut. Do you know what I'm saying? I won't be disrespected on my live. Hell no. Thank you, Big Al. We ain't gonna do that. You gonna come in and show some respect, or you gonna get removed. Like, that's what's gonna happen. Because we're not gonna do that. Because you wouldn't do it in my face. So why am I gonna let you do it in a virtual world if you can't do it in the real world? Why am I gonna let you do it in the virtual world? All right. So let's get back into this spirit man thing. Ooh, she said it's just like using herbs or copper bracelets for arthritis. Oh, okay. So what Unveiling Babylon is saying is, with the crystals and things like that and the herbs, is that these were natural properties, medicinal tools that were used back in the day before the evolution of medicine. Does that resonate? Does that fit, babe? So back in the day, they used to go to like the herbalists, the women in the woods, whatever, to get healing, this and that. Then when they started stealing their secret recipes and the things that they were doing up to heal and whatever, then they started having doctors. And don't you think it's so crazy how it's like the nurses are mainly female, and it's like we have the gender roles and the gender inequality, and it's like when you think about a nurse, it's like the females, and when you think about a doctor, it's like a man. And when you look at the origins of medicine and healing and herbal work and all of that, it stems from a woman. It stems from a woman. So that's why they demonized them and called them witches and thing them at the stake and this and that and all that and the third. It was just to like unalive the knowledge so that they could bring in capitalism and the patriarchal restructure. Bev, you're on Insta? What? Insta bougie today, yeah? We got Bev on. Oh, bless Sunday to you, King. Do you know what, guys? When I don't come on the lives, I don't feel good. Like, when I'm not on the lives, I don't feel good. And it's so hard because when I'm like depressed or I can't, process the information, it's so difficult, man. But I need to try and push myself to come on, because when I am around you lot and I'm talking and I'm, it does help me to get my mind off things. You get what I'm saying? Because it's such a collective shadow traumatic experience. Because I don't want to say burden, because burden is, I think about the language, guys, because burden is very, very triggering for us. You've got to have a burden for the people. Ooh, oh God. Hey, Queen. Woo. Oh, I got to shake that off. I got to shake off the burden. Ooh. Oh. Ooh. That made me feel sick. Ooh. Thanks, Nance. Thank you, my love. All right. So then we've got, okay, so a lot of these cults say that to edify the spirit of the believer, speaking in tongues is the way to do this, because when they pray, it builds up the spirit. Then we've got 1 Thessalonians 5:23. So this is Paul's tripartite ideology, and it says tripartite language, but what I'm going to gauge from this, and any like intellect can tell me if I'm right or wrong. I think this is would they say triune, the triune, that's the Holy Trinity, yeah. So it's the spirit and soul and body, and what you find is that if you guys have seen that content where peppering the Karis brother, yeah, who was very, 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 very handsome. Kiko, you always come on the times for the tea. Oh my God, when I tell you this guy's name was Alex, oh my God, guys, I had to have a lot of self-restraint and control to stop taking that brother home with me. I'm not even gonna lie. I just wanted to put him in my bag. You know, because I'm older. Oh my God, Kiko! I just wanted to put him in my. I wanted to put him in my mini, in my countryman. I wanted to put him in my countryman and take him home. Oh my God, I'd have that guy doing the gardening, you know, with nothing on, even in the cold. I'd have him out the front doing the weeds chair. Do you know what I'm saying? And then I'd be like coming and bringing him his hot drinks and that, and his like his wings, like his little jerk wings. Once a man's with me, that's it. Once I stick it on him, that's it. He's never going nowhere. If I, that's why I don't fight for a man, and I don't. Do you know what I mean? I don't do that all up. Because once I stick it on him, he ain't going nowhere. You're all right coming out with them finger licking jerk wings. You're looking at this girl and you're like, oh my God, she's a goddess. And then she cooks like a Michelin chef. Are you what? And then I'm lit, I'm funny. You know what I mean? Like, back, you get me? Like, when I'm with it, when I'm with my man, I'll be going down on him on the M25. Are you all right? But those days are over, guys. As you all know, I'm celibate. But I'm wild. It's a ride. It's a ride with me. It's a roller coaster ride. If you're my ninja, God, it's never a dull moment. Do you know what I mean? And it's like I become like a DRUG to them, so it just becomes really toxic. So I'm not doing men again. But it was fun when I had my time with men. It was fun. Now I've elevated to them just worshiping me, and I like it. All right, guys. So let's get into what First Thessalonians is telling us. First Thessalonians 5:23. Spirit and soul and body is often used to justify treating the spirit as the primary sacred part of a person. So the spirit is the primary sacred part of the person. And this is, you know, this doctrine, this is the most dangerous, because it's like people will neglect themselves to the point of unalivement for the sake of fasting and, you know, sacrifice, and they put it. So do you see how, like, this is why I've got the losing, suffering, sacrificing and unaliving at the back? Sorry, Instagram, you can't see it. Oh, let me just show Insta quickly. Oh, you can't see it. Why did I turn it like that? Like, I needed to turn the camera. I'm like some idiot. Sorry, guys. All right. So, but you did get a lovely view of my room, didn't you? And my little dresser and everything. So you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. I do love my room. Okay. And consequently, this deprioritizes bodily needs. This verse is widely cited in discussions of spirit-man theology. So there is a spirit-man theology, guys. I'm not gonna lie, this really triggers me to talk about. It really does, because I even question now. Like, I don't know if it was like police. I don't know. All right. So there was a guy in my cult, a reverend minister called Reverend Joe Ajay. I think he's a bishop now. And guys, when I tell you. This guy was so disassociated, yeah. It was like he was walking in the clouds. Like, guys, he could. You see, when he was around Bishop, Reverend Joe, yeah, you couldn't have like any type of normal conversation. He was in full-time ministry, and not all of the pastors are in full-time ministry because that just exploits them. So, everyone's like mainly in like lay ministry where they don't get paid. Anyway, this man was like just consumed like by spiritual things. You know when I imagine lights are on and no one's home, but it's like magnified to like 1 million. So this man was just so disassociated. Like, when he would preach, yeah, like every time he would preach, he would move us into like a different realm, because he was so indoctrinated. He had internalized it so much that when he preached, he moved us into. And this is the thing, like, I'm sure there's science to describe it, but I'm just going to tell you what I'm like from this is like my experience from my knowledge. So he was preaching on the spirit man theology, yeah, and he was talking about like the three parts of God and being made in God's image and stuff, yeah. And no word of a lie, yeah, he was preaching. And guys, I saw like if you imagine like a silhouette of a man, yeah, but it's like I don't know, it's like a shadow. You know when you blink your eyes a lot and then there's like that line and it's like white. Do you know what I'm talking about? But it looks like a highlighter, but it's dark at the same time. You know what I'm talking about, innit? So imagine you've closed your eyes really tightly, then you've opened. So it was like the silhouette of the person was like that, yeah? So as he's preaching, it's like the silhouette comes up and it's like on the stage. I can see it with my eyes. I didn't dream this. I was sitting in the preaching and I saw this. And then it's like then two of the same form, bodily image or form, then slid out of the one person. I don't know if it was God or my mind or hallucinations, guys, or I was in a delirious state. I don't know, but I heard a voice. The voice started talking to me. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like, how do we separate? Because again, this could have been God speaking to me, because I still talk to God and I still believe that God speaks to me. So that's why there's a fine line. We need to be careful about just branding everyone with religious psychosis, because I could be branded with religious psychosis. Anyone that believes in God could be branded with religious psychosis, and that is the reason why it's not on the DSM-5 chart, because the ideology of believing in God could be seen as, you know, like schizophrenia, or do you understand what I'm saying? Like mental health or whatever. Like when you deep it. So there's that's why we have, like, you know, these like human rights and free will and, you know, religious rights and stuff. It's for that reason. So they think I'm attacking. I'm not attacking, baby. It's because I can see you're in doctrine. I can see you're in religious psychosis, because I was in religious psychosis for 18 years, babe. So I don't need to be a mental health this, that, there, or I could just see it, baby, in that glazed eye. That's why I was able to guess that that guy in Paris had been there for like 3 years, because he's not, I could see from the glazed eye, he's still got the fire, he still ain't clocked it, he's still like severely, so he's like 3 years, but I could see the cognitive dissonance. I do feel like that brother will get out there. He'll get out just because he touched the hem of my garment. You know, that's how the pastors talk, guys. When you deep it, yeah, they think they're Christ, like greater. Imagine if I started, like, you know, these pastors, like you see how I was speaking to that guy Alex now. I'll be coming on here like, oh, I know the Lord's gonna move because of the anointing that's on my life, you know, because I was close to him, because of the anointing. Alex will leave Caris. I'm so sad for Alex, man. Do you know what I mean? I just wish that I had like a nice girl to just hook him up with to take him out of there, man. Because she, I feel like recommending my sister. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, are you all right, Alex? Like, let me introduce you to my sister, baby. Because if I can't have you, the next best thing's gonna be my sister, and then I can just live it through her. Are you all right? Did you not see how Nancy? Have you seen him? Look at her. That's why Nancy's gifted up the roses. But Nancy, I feel like you like lighties. I feel like you like lighties and mixed, guys. Is that your type? Because I like chocolate, baby. The darker the berry, the sweeter the juice. Yeah. Oh God. Oh my God. Oh Jesus, gonna take the wheel. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh my God. Oh, have you seen him? Oh God. Like, all I've been thinking about is Alex is lucky I'm celibate. That's all. Caris, if you're watching, all I'm gonna say, but I'm gonna pray that Alex gets a nice wife if he marries in there. Do you know what I mean? Because I want someone that's gonna be able to deal with him and handle him properly, man. Such a fine brother. Oh my God, I didn't know that Caris had man that were looking like that. I was shocked. Oh, do you know what it is, Caris? Oh yeah, because you know why we've got all the bummy ones in Lighthouse, like in Dag's ministry, because you know back then, like we didn't have the uniforms. Like, you know, Caris has been on this uniform thing for years, and you know the Hilton and trying to. So they've got some all right brothers in there, innit? Because I was wondering why there was so much SA and pred behavior going on in there, but it makes sense because they've got like quite good looking guys in there, and then there's just like so many women to the men, so they're just all sleeping with each other in there, unfortunately. But I hope Alex hasn't been. Do you know, Alex, it would really disappoint me if I found out that you'd been doing that, because I thought we had something special going on. If anyone's on here from Caris and you know Alex, tell him to behave himself in there. Do you know what I mean? Because I've got high hopes for him. I'm hoping that he'll be one of the few that aren't preds in there. So Alex, I'm surprised he hasn't reached out to me. Why didn't you reach out to me? I'm willing to go for a coffee. I want to be friends. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm willing to go for a coffee. Alex is the only one in the whole of that Caris denomination that I'd be willing to go for a coffee and just, you know, if he's got any questions after the video. Alex, if you're watching this, or anyone from Caris, babe, if you've got any questions, you want to ask me about anything, I'm being dead ass. Because I don't mind just sitting there and just, I don't know why I never asked for his number. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, now when I'm looking back, I'm like, why didn't I ask for this brother's number? Do you know what I'm saying? Because he's local. So I could have just go coffee and, You know, like have a nice cake every now and then. Oh God, I think I'm gonna do another video because I regret not getting his number, and he knows he's feeling your girl. So I'm gonna do another video just saying, Alex, get in the DMs. Do you know what I mean? Like, why are we doing this? Like, what? Like, I've been expecting this ninja to be coming into the DM. I've been looking. I'm like, where's Alex at? You know what? Yeah, it's probably Karis and the devil. Now you might as well call me LP Sasha Elise. It's not because he's not attracted to me. It's not because if he was feeling me, he would have just gone on ahead and just asked for my number. Like, that's not what it is. It's because the devil's a liar, man. Do you know what I mean? Like Alex doesn't even know what he's got. This is how the gandam are in there. You know, like they'll be with these brothers, yeah. They'll be not guys. They're not even chatting to them romantically. They're not even chatting to these brothers romantically. It's just through doing the work of the ministry, because the work of the ministry and fellowship, they're always together. They're always together, like 24 hours a day. Before you know it, the girl's head over heels in love with the guy. Like after 2 weeks, because a bunch of 15 and 16. Let me show you Alex, bitch. Like, because you don't think I'm here. Like, just, oh, I wonder. That picture, though, that I've got of him, it's not that great. I don't know if it shows. I don't know. Oh, I don't know if this picture really is showcasing his beauty. Oh, he's so fine. Oh, but because even afterwards, I was thinking, afterwards, I said to the survivor, why did I give him so much energy? Like, I never give them, usually I just cuss them out. Kiko, you know what I'm like, chair. I don't take no prisoners. I don't have a bar of it. You know what I'm like? They get all of my anger from the 18 years. So I'm thinking afterwards now, like the survivor's like, oh my God, that was almost 10 minutes, you know? So I've gone, oh yeah. I was like, oh, I know I gave him a lot of my energy, but she was like, oh no, it's all right. Then we started like chopping it up. And they were like, oh my God, he was cute, innit? And then she was like, yeah. Even the way she filmed him, if you lot go and look at the content, yeah, she's literally filmed my man, like she films him from foot bottom upwards, like this, like almost like she's checking him out, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Whew. But I just thought to myself, what's the odds of that? What's the odds that I would see? He's probably one of the most handsome guys in Caris. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, God just set this up. Do you know what I mean? Because God wanted this content. Because what girl at 16, 18 years old is going to see this fine brother and be like, oh, no, I'm not going to come to church with you. Babe, like, this brother don't even need to, oh, God, look at him. Oh, Jesus. That's definitely a better picture, chair. Woo! Oh, my God. Jesus, that hit me, man. Oh God, this brother is so fine. I was thinking to myself, what? Just look at him. Let's just take. All right, let me show you Instagram, because chair. Look at this guy. He is fine as hell. Are you all right? Are you blood clot all right? Instagram, look at him. Oh my God. Do you know what he's giving? He's giving Morris Chestnut. Do you not know Morris Chestnut? But Kiko, you might not know who Morris Chestnut, but maybe you might know because your mum liked him. Do you not know Morris Chestnut? He's given like Morris Chestnut from the 90s. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you know that those chiseled features. Morris is fine. Oh my God. Yeah, he's given like Omar Epps, you know, like real 90s, like. And the thing is, I don't really go for Ghanaian guys, do you know? But they are nice looking though, I'm not going to lie, because there was one. He kind of reminds me, but he's better looking, but he kind of reminds me. Guys, I'm not going to lie. Do you know what's crazy? And this is no word of a lie, yeah? Yeah, the actor girl. Oh, yeah. You know what? I can't help it, user. Like, seriously, yeah, he reminds me of, you know, that guy that I was telling you about that I was doing a ting with in the cult, and then remember he came, like we were together for like 2 weeks, and then he was my beloved, and then he came back and said that he heard from God that I wasn't his wife. But do you know what, if I heard that brother's got my name in his mouth, I would just start talking about his wife, because I don't have time for that, chair. And I'll just start unpacking that, because we both know that you are not happy in that unalive marriage, chair. So anyway, should we just keep him up there for a little bit, because he might be distracting though, but damn, Alex, mum, bloody hell. His mum gave birth. He looks like he's chiseled to, like, look at his nose and everything. He's bloody perfect. And do you know what was taking me out? When I was watching the video back and I was looking at him, because he's got them eyes that smile. You know, when he smiles, his eyes smile. Oh God, this brother is so lucky that I'm celibate. Because I'm not gonna lie, even if I felt like doing a thing with him, I would have just done it. I don't even care about, at this point, I don't care if Caris knows my business. I don't care if David Antry knows my business. I would not have cared. This is God definitely had to bring up all of that unresolved trauma with Jason, because this one would have been coming home with me. I'm not even gonna lie. And then what happened after that would just happen after that chat, because fine G, we can't leave him outside in these streets. And ladies, if you come across him on outreach and you're his age, just move to him, because someone needs to save this brother, because he is too fine to be in there. But ladies, aren't you angry? Aren't you angry that they've got like fine sheets? Is it that like Kiko and Co? I would be angry. I get why you lot are vexed now. Because, for me, I was in just the self-sealing system. And then, my type, I've got like a really, like, that's what I'm saying. If I say he's fine, he's fine. Because I don't really have a type. Do you get what I'm saying? So if I say that a brother's fine, he is actually fine. So I'm just like, raw, like, you lot must be upset. Because they got fine sheets in there, and it's like y'all they're taking you lot's brothers, innit? Oh, sad, man. It's sad. Yeah, Kiko, I feel your pain, man. Because I don't go for these young ones, but this one, yeah. Listen, and me, I wouldn't have even cared about the power dynamics. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't even care about the abuse of power if I'm 10 years older than him. I'm not a blood clot here. Even at this point, if it was like 12 years, because he is man enough. Alex is man. I'm not here. Alex that is a grown ass man. That is all man right there. That is all chocolate. Oh my God. This is the type of brother that you want to go and like buy stuff for. And you know what? It's he's just so fine. Guys, all right, let me stop now. But honestly, I couldn't believe my eyes. I was just thinking, whew. And bless him. You can see his little Caris jumper popping out. Caris make them dress funny though, man. Like, oh, but it doesn't matter what he's wearing though, because that face, baby. That face. Woo! Alex, I really hope, if anyone's watching that knows Alex, can you just tell him that I really hope? Can somebody tell Alex to call me? Okay? Can someone tell, because you know what? No, on a level, Caris, if there's any Caris people, seriously, can you get Caris to hit me up to Alex? Just because there's a few of us female survivors that would like to sit down and have a conversation. We actually just want to see if we want to come to his church, actually. There's about 10 of us. Who wants to listen to Pastor Alex? Alex, you need to get online. Does anyone know if he's on social media? Because I just want to sit down and watch this guy on live. Fine sheets. Like, I just want to see him on live. Does anyone know if he's got a TikTok? Because he tried to say he didn't know who I was and he wasn't on Instagram, but that kind of like, turned me on, because I was thinking, oh, even if he's lying, like, I like the ones he's not on social media. Oh God, ladies. Oh my God, ladies, if you're not celibate, have a little look out for Alex in these Caris recruitment streets. So ladies, what I'm going to say to you is don't be so quick to just be all, triggered, because some of them are actually fine sheets. Do you know what I mean? And you never know. You might be meeting your future husband. Because I'm not going to lie, if them cameras were off and it was just me and Alex, he would have had it. He would have lapped it up. Are you all right? Oh my God. All I need is 5 minutes with this one. Do you know what I'm saying? I just need 5 minutes. Are you all right? Whew. All right, let's move on. Whew. I think I need my fan, y'all. just getting so hot talking about it. Oh, Naz, I mean it is. Like, I just need a little bit of breeze. Because I'm on as well, and I'm celibate, guys. So it's like, to my shock, to see this gorgeous, he looks like a god with a little G. Like, I feel like, oh look, Blue Flick said lol the fan. He looks like he's been sculpted by the gods. He's given like mythology, like Greek mythology. Do you know what I'm saying? Oh, God. All right, let's move on, guys. Let's move on. I just want to say hello, you Alex. If you see this, Alex, make sure that you call me. Do you know what I mean? Like, but you gotta pay for these nails, though. All right, guys, come on, let's move on. But we do have to change it up and have a little giggle because this stuff is heavy stuff, man. And if I don't like put a bit of comedic, rhetoric, then are we gonna get anywhere? Are we really gonna get anywhere? I don't think we are. All right, guys, so let's get back onto this spirit man theology, okay? So it's often used to justify treating the spirit as the primary sacred part of a person and consequently to deprioritize bodily needs. And this verse is widely cited in discussions of spirit man theology. Because I broke them. Oh, hey, Ravina, you're all right, girl. You're right. You did a good little piece of content the other day, innit? I shared. How are you, Queen? Ravina, look at this guy. Ain't he cute? Oh, no, I've got to be respectful there because some of my survivors are proper devout Christians and everything, innit? But I'm just saying, I just want to say to everybody here, I know before I was saying that I'm not interested in saving people, but when it comes to Caris, I am about saving the men. And I just want to say I'm doing this for all my young gal, like Ijoama and, Miss Kiko, all of the young gal them, I'm doing it for y'all. Yeah, I'm doing it for y'all because we do need to get some of these fan sheets out because there is no way that Caris can be having brothers in there looking this fine. This guy could be doing modeling. This guy could be sitting, this guy, yeah, guys, and this is the kind of stuff that I hate because it's like they just put, and this guy, he's a nice guy. Unless actually this might draw out any women that he's done stuff with though. So that, yeah. The first thing I need to be saying is there any women like that need to come forward about Alex? That's what I forgot. I need to do that first chair, but I'm hoping that he doesn't. I don't think he does. Because when I told him that my boyfriend unalived, I actually saw a bit of empathy from him. So I think that he's been brought up by a good woman. I think his mum's a queen. So I'm hoping that he'll get out. God, what is this? The Alex show. Do you know what I mean? But I did tell him he was going to get famous though. All right. So let's get into it. So these are the main load-bearing scriptures. Different traditions interpret them very differently. Some see tongues as private prayer that can edify one's inner life. And I want to say, I still speak in tongues. So I'm not here to demonize tongues. I think it's a very sacred spiritual experience. I just don't think that the way that they do it in a lot of these cults is scriptural. It's mind-altered practices. It causes brain damage. It causes the brain to rewire, and it's connected to a lot of like autoimmune diseases, etc. Do you understand? Like the triggering and the exasperation of it. Yeah. So I'm not here to be against tongues, but I'm here to expose the illegitimate practices of tongues which are not scriptural. Okay. So that is why Paul's repeated instructions that public worship must edify the whole church and that interpretation and understanding matters. So again, I go back to my favorite scripture in the whole wide world: for lack of knowledge, our people perish. And I did tell the church to get ready for me because I said when I first started speaking out, I was just all over the place. But as I'm healing, I'm able to actually, like unpack the scriptures now and, really help people deconstruct. All right. So let's get into why cultish churches emphasize spiritual practices and devalue the body, and an interdisciplinary account. So this is going to include a lot of disciplines of practice. So we're going to be looking at sociology, psychology, philosophy, metaphysics, neuroscience. So this is going to be quite a long piece. So that's why I said I've still been saying I'm going to go and do my bagel and come back. But I've missed you lot, man. Blood clot. So below, I'm going to unpack motives and mechanisms across several disciplines and show how they connect into a coherent control strategy and how that is all intertwined. Hi, Bummy. Theology and rhetorical framing. How leaders make the idea authoritative. So spiritual primacy and dualism. Leaders reframe ancient texts and theological language, e.g. spirit, soul, and body, into a hierarchy that privileges the spirit above the body. But that's what they want you to do, because remember, they want you to be like cut off from self. So if they can separate the two in your psyche, you're easier to control. It's all about control. All about control. That creates moral authority to demand sacrifices of bodily needs. Healthcare, work-life balance, and privacy. And do you see that as a result of this, they can have like no boundaries for you? You will work like a slave. There will be free labor for profit. Like, for example, RPF, some survivors have come forward and like exposed this kitchen thing that they do up in there, yeah, and they sell food. So a survivor has based, all I know about it, so if anyone's got any information, please come forward. But a survivor said that basically, like NGRM, but you know, Cece's just been ghetto and cooking food and putting it in a plastic container, yeah. But in there, they've got like an actual, like it's like a shop. So they sell like burgers and jollof and chicken and whatever. And the survivor said that it's nice though. She said she doesn't know, because I was asking her, is it a ministry? Do they get paid? Do they make money? Like what's the thing on it? But she don't know. She just said that they're selling food in there. But if my, you know, just off the back of like how greedy these guys are and whatever, it's probably a money making machine in there. Can you imagine like how much money they're making, like selling this food? Like the girl was telling me it's like £7 a pop. Like that's how much you'd pay, like to go and get, you know, like something from, I'm gonna say One Stop in it, because I'm from West, and our best Caribbean shop is DJs on One Stop. That's in Austin. But whatever your Caribbean or Tasties or whatever, so it's still the price, same price as the shop. So I'd be interested to know if anyone's got any information on that. You know, give me a little bit more. But I'm onto them. It's things like that. That's what I was talking about. You know, people will be like laving it out, like working themselves out, and they'll be making all of the money. Sacralizing obedience. So again, it's the sacredness. It's the sacrificial. You know, not sacredness, sacrifice. Yeah, that's basically what it means. If leaders claim special spiritual insight, they hear God. So again, that's why you've got to run from these places of worship that are doing up spiritual daddy, zaddy, and you know what they call Austin in RPF? Pa. They call Austin Pa, and they call Mish Mama Mish. I've got so much tea on RPF. I can't wait to expose them up where they better get ready, child. Woo! You know, with RPF, I'm just sitting there chilling now because I got everything. I got everything and some. I'm just gonna take my time with RPF. I'm gonna take my time. I'm gonna be real slow because I've been waiting 2 years to expose these guys. I've been waiting 2 years. And I just want to say to the survivors, patience is a virtue. Temperance and patience, and you know, it's all a virtue. You know, incorporating that spiritual practice into personal relationship with God and self, in just having moments of stillness where you can practice temperance. So although things are not working around me like this, that, and the third, I'm going to be patient, because I was a very impatient person before I started really knowing God. Oh, thanks, Queen Innes. Oh, hey, Specs. Oh my God, there used to be a guy. There used to be Mandem in my ends called Specs. He used to do up the studio. Oh God, I used to love Specs. Because he used to wear glasses, innit? So the Mandem called him Specs. Because he was like, you know, the engineer. So, you know, like back in the day when they used to spit and they used to do radio and everything. Anyway, I digress. This stuff's deep, man. Thanks for the follow, Blue Flick, as well. This stuff's deep, man. So learning to just be still, guys, is so important, because in there, you know, they don't want you to be able to ground self and have time to think and process. So what I would say to people who are sitting on the fence thinking of leaving, start to just like offload. So if you've got like certain duties and tasks, just start to draw yourself back from those, or just make something up. I always say, if say a family relative's like ill or unalived, make it up. Especially because, listen, you need to get your exit cult story together from now, because we've got Christmas. I've got to start doing the cult exit stuff, because you need to, if you're going to say a family member's unalived, or guys, they lie in there all the time. They're lying every time they get up there. They've been sleeping with women, and they're preaching from they're liars. So don't feel like you're sinning because you're telling a little white lie, babe. Do you know what I mean? Like, so you got, in the words of Reverend Edmund Ant Samoa, he said, sometimes you've got to tell a white lie to save yourself. So you need to start talking about the family member from now. Yeah, whether this is a family member in Ghana, whatever. Listen, how it is in this life, even if you live next to them, so what? You just turn off all your social media. Don't be online. This is a time for you to seek God anyway. You can be on the TV. You can create a burner account and be online. Do you get what I'm saying? Because what you don't want to do is isolate yourself and then go into psychosis. So we need to get a balance, yeah? But what I'm saying is to just take like, even if it's I would always say 2 weeks, but if that can't be done, just take a couple of days where you can just be in stillness. Because in that cult, yeah, you're everywhere else but the present. You're in yesterday, you're in next week, you're in the vision. Remember, they got the vision of these 1 million souls. You're in heaven. You're everywhere but the present. So when you come out, you need to do a lot of like self-love and self-care around like just like trying to like mind, body and soul mindfulness. The reason why they say mindfulness is demonic is because it helps you to get like into alignment with self, to have peace, and it also helps you to like ground yourself, to like repair like your nervous system. But anything that comes to threaten religion, that's what they demonize. So just open your eyes and just smell the fresh coffee, because fresh coffee actually, because I've had like anyone who's had a Cuban coffee from Miami, you will never be able to have another Cuban coffee again in your life, right? So what I'm going to say is wake up and smell the Miami Cuban coffee. Fresh to death. That's what we need to be doing. Like smell them coffee, smell them Miami Cuban coffee beans. Do you get what I'm saying? Like really smell it, because it's strong. That Cuban coffee is beautiful. Oh my god, the way they do it, you know, the top, when you get it from Miami, baby, the top is like it's like cream, but it's like whipped. They do it in some mad way. I don't even know how to explain it. It's just absolutely exquisite. And they just, you know, because it's like when you think about Miami, you got to be thinking like Scarface, like Latina. Like they all thought I was Latina over there, child. They were all coming up to me and speaking in Spanish, and I was like, no, darling, I'm from the UK. What? Mommy, why you what? Oh my god, she talks like the queen, you know, like all of that. Yeah, I've got so much family there. Anyway, I digress, but we do need to digress, guys, because it's so heavy. All right. So what happens is as they do this sacralizing of obedience, the leaders then use mystical manipulation to claim special spiritual insight. So we've got the transcendental belief system and the thought reform program through them hearing from God, because that's going to be the cult leader's ideology, his overall vision, right? So then that moves us into the spiritual practices then becoming the measure of faithfulness. So the measure of being a strong Christian, a good Christian, or whatever. So when we look at the fake trad thingy model, you can see there that they make everything external. So now they've got that measuring yardstick on you. Now they're going to surveillance you, and now they're going to monitor you, and they're going to use this to see how well you're doing in the ministry. And that's where the control comes into it. The obedience is better than sacrifice. And you heard Sasha saying that as well. All of these washed up 304s turned wogs, they're going to have the most ABUSE controlling, because she don't LOVE herself. Because it doesn't matter about looks, because she's a pretty girl, but it doesn't matter. But when they start getting into the faith, their beauty starts to fade. Because as a woman gets older, she has to learn to love herself. Because if she doesn't love herself, it doesn't matter how beautiful she was originally, she won't grow beautiful with age. Because as you're growing with age, it doesn't then become about like, you can't get everything like with beauty. So it has to go within. Do you get what I'm saying? Because how you feel within will be a direct reflection of how you feel outwardly. Does that make sense? So after a while, like these pretty gal, it's, you know, do you get it? Like no one cares about Kim anymore, Kim K and all them gal there. Do you understand? So that's why they end up like these Sasha Elises and whatever, they end up in these spaces, and that's just on period point blank. So listen, all of these washed up 304s, yeah, that turned wogs. I don't mind you going to church. I don't mind you being LP Sasha Elise and Potter's House and do whatever, but don't come into the social domain space and trigger us survivors. Just do it in your own self-sealing systems. That's what I need them to understand. Because you're no match for me. If I then step into the arena, you're just going to get cancelled. Do you get what I'm saying? Because even if you're there doing whatever, you're going to be questioning yourself, number one, because I'm psychoanalyzing you and sowing seeds in your mind. And even if they say, oh, I don't watch it, oh, whatever, girl. Even if you watch 10 seconds of my video, I've planted a seed. I've planted a seed. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's just the way the cookie crumbles, baby. So what's happening is there's survivors in the collective. I nearly said fold. Sorry, guys. I was in the cult for 18 years. There's survivors that are in the collective, that are proper like devout, going to places of worship, gal them. and man them. But what I've noticed since I've spoken to them, I've seen them outside, whatever, they're actually deconstructing and seeing that a lot of it is BS. So they're having to go back to the drawing board and deconstruct, because a lot of these people were following the likes of Sasha Elise and all of these gal them, thinking, yeah, it's really good. And when I've deconstructed it and broken it down, people have seen it through a different lens, because not only do I have the 18 years of being under Dagwood Mills and anyone that knows First Love, but this is the reputation that I've absolutely destroyed for them, because they were known for being these scholars of the word, and they don't have that reputation anymore. They don't have it. That's gone. That's crumbled. I've exposed that. That's all regurgitated, recited scriptures of slurs and tones, because I still know them from 18 years. And the whole reason why I'm able to expose all the other churches like Charis and Christ Embassy and Faith and Victory and this one and that one and that one is because it's all the same false doctrine. And everyone's waking up and saying, okay, we don't agree with everything that Leah's saying, but she is right about this. Am I right or am I right? So it's sowing seeds of confusion. And you know why? It's not because I meant to sow seeds of confusion. It's not because I wanted to get anyone out, but it's because the same pit that they dug for me is the same one that they're falling into. The way they've been sending confusion, that's why I said to them, don't do the incantations and the EVIL prayers. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it for your own sake. Don't do it. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Because everything that they've been wishing on me, it's been happening to their church members. Their church members' siblings have been unaliving. Their church members' families have been church members have been going MAD. They were all calling me MAD. Do you know how many people, like family from RPF, First Love, Charis, have come forward and said, my child has lost their mind. Are you all right? So here you are, talking about me being MAD, talking about me being this, that, and the third. But I've been consistent with this content for 2 years. Now the movement, we're really seeing the manifestation of it, right? Because I don't want to use fruits. It's triggering. So it's like, you're sending confusion to me and my life and my world. But as you're doing that, the world is becoming clearer and brighter and more transparent, and the veil is becoming thinner. And I'm growing and I'm healing and I'm moving on. And this is what I want you also to notice, that in the space of time since I've been doing this, you can see the growth in me. Because it's not like you meet someone in the street, you say this in this prayer, and all of a sudden you're born again and you love the Lord. And look at that girl, Angel. Do you remember I was telling you about Angel? But I said, let me give this girl a little bly, innit? Remember Angel, the mixed thing that was running around in these streets, going to carnival and little short skirts? Did you see that she went to Miami and backslid? She probably got her back blown out. She went to Miami, backslid, started doing all these videos. I've really sinned. I just don't want to. And then they go into this repetitive. So again, exactly what I said is exactly what happened. Because don't be thinking that you know more than me, Meg, Angel, and co. Because you don't. You absolutely don't. And I'm doing this in the name of the Lord of hosts. I don't care whether they believe it, I don't care. But all I know, baby, is when I cry out to my God and I say, look, because the Lord sees what I'm doing behind the scenes, man. He sees I'm talking to survivors for 4 hours on the phone. He sees I'm holding the space for women that have been raped and essayed, and I'm crying on the phone with them. The Lord sees behind closed doors and in silence what your girl is doing. So when you ask me, am I afraid? I have no fear. I fear in God. The Lord is my God. Yeah? Got it tatted on my arm so it's real. Are you all right? The Lord is my God, baby. I'm radical for God. God is my life, my heartbeat. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, if it weren't for God, I don't know where I'd be. And I'm sorry, like atheists and people who don't believe, like, just take what resonates and leave what doesn't, please. I'm not here to trigger anyone. Why take like vulnerable, like young people and adults that are coming into these settings and just use an ABUSE them and not be transparent and not be honest? Why do that and have all these systems and structures? Guys, when I tell you, that's what I was saying. You can see the growth, because before, with all of the stuff that I'd been hearing, I would have just been on the live, effing and blinding. It would have got lock off. We would have had no live for a week. I would have had to been going to all these accounts. Like, you can see since I've been doing this, the growth in me taking like accountability, going and getting the meds, and and I'm still so far. I've never claimed to come on here and sit on here and be like some perfect angel like how they do lying. I'm very aware. I'm very self-aware of my struggles, of my not even insecurities. Where am I going with it? I don't have no insecurities, bitch. Codependency, whatever. codependency, doing ups and all of that. I know what I'm working on, and when I'm ready to share, I'll share, but I'm not ready yet. So you can see the growth, you can see the healing, but all of these big places of worship, whatever, they're still doing the same thing. Still abusing me online, still dragging my name through the mud, still doing up their incantation of prayer. Nothing's changed. And I think some of the survivors have like been watching me, because remember when I first came out, it was like, so they were like, oh, she's mad, no one's going to listen to her. But that was the strategy. God said to me to go on the internet and basically scream and shout, like God said, scream and shout from the mountaintops, keep screaming and shouting, eventually someone will hear. Bev, you've been here from the jump. You've been here consistently from the blood clot get-go, yeah? Bev, you remember me saying that all the time, right? Do you remember when I used to say that all the time, Chair? All right. So I'm even noticing the growth. I'm noticing the change in myself. I'm like, even guys, even the way I'm able to talk to people and say no, like, even though we've made plans or whatever, I can't, I don't want to do that today. I'm not able to have that. And it upsets other people, because it's like everyone has their own things that they're dealing with. But me being in a cult for 18 years, what I learned is I've got to put myself first regardless. And I'm not afraid to tell people no. And I'm not afraid to tell people I need space. And then if they've got an issue with it or a problem, they have to deal with that, what trauma's going on with them with that. Do you get what I'm saying? Because for me, I just feel like being in a cult for as long as I was, it's like, that's the first thing that I learned to do when I came out, like saying no and having boundaries. And it's not about an individual person. It's not about, it's about me as a person. And that's why even when I have friendships, any dynamic of relationships, whatever, I've always got to make sure that the person's emotionally stable to deal with me. Because if there's someone who's not as emotionally stable, then when I need to have those times when I need to say no, or I need to be by myself, or I need to shut down, or, you know, there's no understanding. Do you get what I'm saying? So what I would say, guys, is when you first come out, like, get used to telling people no, and don't feel bad about it. Don't give a shit. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do not care, because what they do in these cults is they use manipulation a lot. Yeah, they use a manipulation a lot. So they basically indoctrinate us so that we can't say no. So that is very triggering for me. Like when I want space, or I'm telling someone I need to be on my own, or no, and they're not respecting it, or they're taking it personally, and then energetically that's coming onto me, or I just can't handle situations like that, because in the cult, that's the kind of controlling, you know, tactics that they would use. And even if people around me are unbeknown, or they don't even see it as they're doing that, to me, that's how I'm processing it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because I've worked so hard to be able to say no and not allow people's emotions or feelings or whatever govern my... Guys, is this resonating? Is this making sense? Because they're very manipulative in there. They're very, very manipulative in these cult spaces. And you've got to understand that you've got to say no, especially survivors. Like, I speak to survivors all the time. They're like, oh, I don't know how to tell them this. And they're coming to me. And it's like, you've got to put your foot down. You've got to put your foot down and say no. Like, I'm not afraid to hurt people's feelings. I don't care. I do not care. I'll keep it so real with you. I don't care, because I've got to put myself first. And that's, and guys, I think that a lot of us have to, remember I said to you, you've got to get into like that Queen of Swords energy. You've got to put yourself first. Yes, you can love people. Yes, you can have, but you've got to learn, we've got to be selfish now, because they took so much years of our life. That's why, and you know, another thing, you know, like my boyfriend unalived, yeah? Remember he unalived when I was 19, and I used to have this friend, and she was like, I'm so glad I've never had a friend like this again, because she just thought she was my man. It was so freaking weird. As soon as I start to get those vibes, I'm just like, eh. So this girl, yeah, she thought she was my proper man. I would never deal with a friendship like that ever again. And she was trying to like control me, like when I could go and see Jason, and it was like I felt like I had to like sneak out, and you know, it was weird. And I remember like afterwards thinking, I'm so glad I didn't let that girl, like, you know, like have me with her all the time, because he didn't live that long. He didn't live that long. He really didn't live that long. And it's like when I sit here and I think, I don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. So if I'm feeling something intuitively, or because, you know, in there, they didn't respect boundaries. They didn't respect boundaries. So it doesn't matter what the dynamic is, guys, whether it's work, a friendship, a sibling, a mother, whatever, if they're not respecting your boundaries, then you've got to take a step back, because it doesn't matter what the situation is. If someone is not respecting your boundaries, then they have no boundaries. Because how can you have boundaries if you're not respecting someone else's boundaries? Because I respect other people's boundaries, because my boundaries are airtight. My boundaries are airtight. No respect for boundaries. So when you see that a person has no respect for boundaries, that is huge red flags, especially when they're delusional and they're not seeing that these are the issues, because that's what I can't F with. Do you understand? Because then that's giving mega church, because you're not seeing. I just can't do that. It's just too triggering. It's too effed up. It's too triggering, and I won't do it. And I know you're watching. I won't do it. I will not. I will not. You must put yourself first, but just make sure it's not of greed. Yeah, but how can it be of greed? How can putting yourself be of greed? How can putting yourself is never about greed. You can never be greedy if you put yourself first. I think you need to maybe learn about self-love, because self-love is not about greed. Because you can't love anyone else until you love yourself. You can't treat anyone else nice until you love yourself. Yeah, I was just gonna block you, and that just confirmed it. Really, like, repulsive energy and spirit there. Yeah, so when they have no respect for boundaries, that's when you need to, like, you need to put up your boundaries even more, because they will just come in and they will just take advantage, and they will just walk all over you, and they will just treat you like a doormat, and they will just lie. They will just lie and lie and lie and lie. And that's why I don't like to put in boundaries with, like, survivors and stuff, because it's like we're just all here, friends, one big happy family. But I'm going to have to reevaluate how I even form relationships with survivors, because the same thing keeps happening over and over again. And it's like, the reason why I'm going to have to put up even more boundaries is because what I've noticed is when I get close to a survivor, it starts to, like, affect the space, like how they can receive the space, how they can receive, like just being a part of the collective. And I don't want that to be for people where it's like, oh, they feel like they're angry with me or whatever, and then they can't come on the space, because it's so much bigger than that. It's so much bigger than that. This is about deconstruction. This is about survivors. This is about people's lives. This is about healing. This is about, you as an individual. This isn't even about me. So when we start getting into that, I can't F with that, because we're all one as a collective. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I'm gonna have to really sit down and reevaluate and look at a lot of things, guys. But I'm doing a lot of processing. I'm doing a lot of thinking, and I'm gonna have to reflect and think about a lot. There's a lot I've got to think about. So, psychology, how beliefs shape behavior and compliance. So we've got spiritual bypassing, using spirituality to avoid emotional pain, accountability, or ordinary moral constraints. And this is why when survivors come up and they say things like there was a survivor that called me today. Remember, I was saying to you, was asking me, he was saying, do you think that that witchcraft is real? Do you think that what they do, they have power to put witchcraft on us? Because I'm noticing I don't remember things. A lot of the survivors are coming out with, comorbidities, health issues, cancers, etc. And the first thing that I said to the survivor was, let's look at the psychology and the science, because the body keeps the score. I went through the whole trauma theory, this, that, and the third. But what I've noticed is a lot of survivors have learned over time to survive through codependency, manipulation, me, myself. And these settings will allow, because what you got to understand is, if somebody has, like, is socially isolated, never felt love, never felt whatever, then they come in this setting and they learn that they can buy love. For example, like, like some of these wogs are really, really shallow, and all they care about is money. All they care about is stuff, being bought for them being, because they're so shallow in there, and they will exploit members. So when survivors learn that, okay, I can buy affection, or I can use my mental health, or I can use my past, or I can use my DRUG addiction, because then I can manipulate Leah to stay on the phone with me for an extra hour or extra 2 hours. And this is the kind of stuff that was happening when we were in there, guys. There was a lot of like absolutely no boundaries. We would spend hours and hours and hours on the phone with people to the point where we are now like energetically drained and we've got nothing else to give, not even ourselves or other people. And that wouldn't happen. Like, you see me now when I'm with the survivors, yeah? It's not like I'm on the phone to survivors every single day for 4 hours, because I cannot do that. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's why I have to have my boundaries up for absolutely everyone. Another thing I want to let people know as well is codependency is also when oh, I don't even know where I was going with that. But all I'm going to say is, because we had like absolutely no boundaries, we have to like leave this environment now and rebuild our boundaries. But we also need to like be like self-aware of others around us as well, who may be able to sense that vulnerability on us and know that we don't have those boundaries, like this, that, and the third, especially preds, you know, like with the male. So that's why I said, like, I'm not trying to say like, because I'm celibate, everyone should be celibate. Obviously take what resonates and leave what doesn't. But I think every woman that comes out of the cult should go into like a year of celibacy. Like, do you get what I'm saying? If they're not married and stuff. Yeah, rebuilding the boundaries. We have to. And guys, it's a learning process, because I just keep seeing that I just keep making it's the same patterns and cycles and mistakes, man. I keep making the same things, like, especially with dynamics of relationships and friendships. I've got to learn. And I think it's just as a result of, like, you know, being in that cult. I just haven't had any normal relationships, you know. Your mother's not well. Your mother's not well. Your mother is a hoe. And she's so confused. She should have swallowed you up. That's why your hair's in dreads. Why your hair looks so dirty. Why your face looking like that. Why do you look so washed up? Dusty 304, you're sitting here having chat for me when mommy should have swallowed you. Then we wouldn't be here having this conversation. You look so washed up. Oh my God, you look like a frog. Where did you get that square chiseled bone structure from? Was it from your mother? It's given SpongeBob SquarePants. Baby, what hat you gonna find to fit on that square chiseled jawbone line? You broke, you dusty, you ugly, you got chiseled jawline. Your dreads look like a piece of SHIIT. I can see that you so broke through my camera screen. His name is Dwayne Ransom, and he looks like SHIT. But you church man them love it, innit? Look, you've never had this energy before. Look, you've got it now. How do you feel? Now you got it, now you don't. All right, I just thought, let me give them a little bit of energy and time, because I needed to get myself out of that zone. All right, so let's move back into what we were talking about. Just had to remove some dusty energy. Be gone! You know, because I'm in the sticks in the countryside, yeah? Like, when I go to, like, these little stores and stuff, they'll be like, oh, your nails are so long. You know, all the whitey guys, and I'll be like, yeah, it's to scare the men away. It's to scare all the men away. And they were all laughing, you know, because I have all my bants. But, you know, like, I turn into a little Karen. I'm like, yeah, it's to scare all the men away. Do you know what I mean? They were laughing. They love your girl. Do you know what I mean? Are you all right? They love the whitey man. Them love me. All right. Let's get into especially the geezers. Oh my God, the geezers. They can't get enough. All right. So we've got this spiritual bypassing. Using spirituality to avoid emotional pain. Accountability or ordinary moral constraints. That's why it's always the devil. It's always this. It's always that. Like, and they'll try to cover up the real issue about what's going on so that they will lack the accountability. They don't want to talk about it. In their psyche, it's the devil, it's this, it's that. Leaders encourage members to treat spiritual practice as the answer for every need. This quiets critical thinking and redirects distress into approved religious forms. So people don't get to process, they don't get to think, they don't get to, like, every action, every movement, every step we take, every move we make, every single day, every time that praise, we gotta follow him. No way! No, you lot like up the life! Like up the life! Freestyle insight! Like up the life! Listen, yeah. First love Ghana, Accra. You need to be fluing this bitch out, child, to come and write those lyrics over them songs. Maybe if you had me in the music ministry writing them songs, maybe it would be such a train wreck. Okay? Because your girl out here freestyling. This is giving Grammy Award winning songwriter, baby. You know? Oh my God, I gotta get back into the songwriting and the singing, man. Hi, where can I watch your expositions of the mega churches as a Christian? I'm very interested. Oh, well, why, thank you, Alex. You can watch my expositions on the mega churches. Alex, first of all, I want to ask you, what social media account would one prefer? I mean, what's your preference? Is it YouTube? Is it Instagram? Or would one prefer TikTok? What I will tell you is, if you go onto Instagram in my highlights folder, I've just neatly proportioned them in the highlights folder, so you know, for your convenience and your watching pleasure, you can go in there and you can find all of Insta or YouTube, okay, and you can find all of the videos. But also, if you go to my YouTube channel, I've got playlists which have been very nicely laid out for you in many different thematic folders. So we've got, you know, if you want to deconstruct, or if you want to look at spiritual abuse, or loyalty and disloyalty, or Daggett Mills, or whatever that might be, you can then pop over to my YouTube channel, which is very lovely, actually. I love being on. I'm actually on YouTube at the moment. So Alex, if you're interested in, are there any, does one have any particular expositions that you would like me to clarify on, or is this sufficient for yourself? I do love putting on my Chelsea accent. As you all know, I come from the ghetto of Chelsea, but it does have pros and cons, and one is this very British London Chelsea accent that I have. Oh, thank you, Lindsay. Why, how lovely of you. Thank you, Azzy. Do you know what? I think I'm actually going to keep this voice for a little bit. I don't know, I just feel like, like a rich auntie just living in my house in the sticks of Kent, just doing my art with my bohemian braids. Free and rich. Let's speak it into existence. Come on, collective. I'm going to use you like the mega church cult use you. So right now, can you just stretch your hands forward towards me, please, and put out the good intent that the universe there'll be a miracle and I'll get rich quick. Please, would you do it? Because I believe in it. All right. So let's get into coercive control and learned dependency. Also, I want to ask you, oh God, babe, piss off. just get out of here. You try to do something and it never works. It never bloody works. They always try and say something, and then I start going into the posh British accent, and he didn't like it because he wasn't getting what he wanted. And I could tell he was a troll, so I've just blocked him, idiot. All right. So we're now going to go into coercive control and learned dependency techniques. So we've got isolation, love bombing, then we've got shaming, restriction of information, produce dependence on the group. When the group teaches that bodily needs are secondary, members internalize it. Academic work applies coercive control frameworks directly to cults. So we can see that there's these coercive control frameworks I've spoken about, the power and control wheel, how, you have the ego there, you have the various different components of power and control, and how these cults exert control over their members, okay? So let's look at how the academic work applies through these coercive controlling frameworks and how these are impacted directly to cults and members. So we've got identity fusion and social reward, intense group rituals. And that's why I'm saying all of you SPAC and Caris and all of you pathetic people. It's like you're trying to be this upper class, especially RPF. Like, y'all are from Woolwich, y'all are from Woolly Road. You're from the slums of the ghetto. So what I'm going to say to y'all is, you just HATE on me because you're trying to be this, but I effortlessly exceed this, you see. And that's what you HATE, isn't it? That's what you HATE. I'm too diverse. So we've got the identity fusion and social reward intense group rituals, speaking in tongues, events and claims of special spiritual status produce emotional fusion with group identity. So here we have the group emotional fusion where there's one identity. So what you'll see, I'm not going to speak like this anymore, but you know I kind of do anyway. That's just like my maiden Chelsea, you know, yeah. Okay. So it fuses, it becomes one identity, the born again love bombing experience. So that's where they get their identity from, in being born again, in being part of this community, in being this disciple, these soldiers of Christ. Another thing that I want to put within this identity is, Alex was talking a lot about my spiritual father, my prophet, my this, my that. I just sense that maybe he lost his dad young, or his dad wasn't around. I sense that he's got father issues. And I'm going to do another video. So I don't know if I want to do another video psychoanalyzing him, because I've fallen in love with him already. I'm such a lover girl. Oh my God, guys, I've fallen in love with the bloke. I can't even psychoanalyze him because I just don't know if he's ready for it, bless him. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to put content out there that he's not ready for. I'm really thinking about him and his mental health. You know, I never do this. I never give a damn. Like, if people's mental health suffers, I don't care. I blood clot care. They didn't care about our mental health, did they? They don't care about Sasha Elise doesn't care about our mental health when she's sitting on her little podcast calling women who are pro-choice unalivers. So now, what do you think that's going to do to survivors who got eaten out of the great bowl by the pastor and then coerced to go and get a termination? How do you think they feel, babe? How do you think women feel who terminated their child because they didn't, unlike you, 304, there are women who terminated the child because they didn't want to have the baby to cause further confusion for their youths? And unlike you, Sasha Elise, some of us don't have millions and millions of pounds in the banks because we shot our batty crease off and married Krypton Conan and then have millions and are sitting in our Audi and our Range Rover. Some of us aren't doing that up. Some mothers are single mothers on benefits, bitch. So if they can't afford to have that child, it would mean that their other child would be living in poverty. So they don't have that luxury, sweetie. So it's not like women have wanted to do it. They've gone and done it in their psyche to protect their kids because they don't want to confuse their kids. But you're a 304, so you don't care if you confuse Nyla. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you've got this guy from nowhere, he's blowing out your back and the dad, and you don't care. Krept is a lot more together than that girl. He's a lot more emotionally stable and intelligent than that girl. Do you understand what I'm telling you? By far. By far. Oh. Some little idiot on there coming to ask me human fecal matter. These church man, then you're lucky I'm on TikTok, man. You lot act LGBTQ+. That's how you lot act. No disrespect. Do you know what, my LGBTQ+ community, I'm really sorry that I've even said you lot as an example. I take it back. I apologize because you know I love y'all. But they're just acting like it's giving diva. Hi, Els. It's giving diva because you know I love my LGBTQ+ community. Yeah, I love them. No. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, they're always demonizing LGBTQ+ people, and I just feel like they're so honest and open. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, they'll tell you exactly what they think about you there and then on the spot. I love them. Like, they're always trying to demonize them because you know why? Because they're like a reminder. Do you get what I'm saying? To like all of these social constructs and capitalism and everything. They're like a walking reminder that their indoctrination and their systems and structures and whatever it doesn't work. It doesn't work. And that's why they don't like them. That's why they ostracize them so much. There's so much demonization. I clocked it the other day. Hi, your interaction with the guy was hilarious. Oh, hi, Els. I love you. But ain't he fine shit? Is he your type though? What type do you get? Because I know some gal them like a lighty. But guys, I'm not gonna lie. I think whether you like tall, dark, and handsome, fair, ginger, blue eyes, green, I just think we can all appreciate a handsome man, can't we? Oh, he's not for you. Oh, okay. Well, he's even more for me then. She said, not for me. I said, more for me, yeah. There ain't enough Alex to go around anyway, Alice. I don't care if you don't want him, baby, because there ain't enough Alex. I don't think Alex can handle the both of us, girl. So Alex, I don't even know if Alex can handle me, but I'm sure as hell gonna teach him. You know, these young ones, I don't care, because I could have taught him. That's what I'm saying. Like, they're in there, they got women as schmeg slaves. Like, Alex, if I wasn't celibate, Alex would have been in my house, living in my house, being a schmeg slave. And once he's in my yard, he's not going nowhere. Any man that comes to my yard, he's just addicted. He don't want to go nowhere. The energy of my house is crazy. I put a lot into the energy of my house. Like, when you come to my house, you feel like, when you leave my house, you feel healed. Like there's so much energetic, like in the paintings. I've got shells and freaking stones that I've done mosaics on my wall. I've got, like, my whole house is intentional. Do you get what I'm saying? So, like, when the man them, you know, like when I used to have my ninja and whatever, he used to come in, like, look at the music I play and the candles and the ambiance, and they just can't get enough. So if Alex was here, I don't care how many years he's been in there. I don't care how much prayers he's been doing and whatever. Once I get that brother in his robe, you know, one of these silk robes, once I get him having that rose bath, do you get what I'm saying? Give him his little tea, his little herbal tea at the side, do you know what I mean? Cream up his skin. Do you get what I'm saying? With my oils that I've blended and made together for myself. And then he's laying down on the perfumed sprayed sheets and that. You know what I mean? And I'm giving him a massage. Alex ain't going nowhere. Alex ain't even thinking about Karis at this point. Alex is ready to go to the registry office. That's where Alex is ready to go. Are you all right? Alex, you're lucky I'm celibate, babe. You're so lucky, because you would have been coming to my yard that day, and I got a nice yard. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you would not have been, you have not wanted to be leaving this yard. All right. Alex, don't let me down. Make sure you pick a good girl. I'm going to be disappointed, man, if I see you getting with one of them shallow things in Karis. Remember that girl that I put up, and she's doing financial literacy? The girl can't even string two sentences together. She speaks like that. I'm just like, oh my God. Are you all right? Like, you're trying to come on her and be like, I'm sorry, yeah, but how can you be evangelizing to people if you're broke? And I'm just thinking, you sound broke, girl. Like, how are you going to be coming on and putting down other man them? Like, religion, that's the thing. You know, I like a guy with money in the past, because, you know, I'm going to be celibate for the rest of my life. But when I used to like the man them, it was all about money and this, that, and they have to have money. I can't deal with a breaky. But when it comes to religion, baby, it's not about that. It's not about that. And that's why I'm saying it just doesn't get more shallow than them gal in there. It just doesn't get more shallow. Because even like a young guy, I don't expect him to be like a millionaire unless he's like, you know, Mark Zuckerberg or whatever. But it's like gal them will be putting like these unrealistic expectations on guys who are just like so young. And that's the same thing that these 304s do in the cult. These men are so broken down. No, I'm not religious. I'm not religious. I'm spiritual like Jesus Christ. All the Pharisees and the Sadducees, yeah, were the religious orders of that time, babe. And Jesus Christ came to threaten it. So Jesus Christ was spiritual. If Jesus Christ was to come back today, they would call him a witch and a wizard and a hippie. The places of worship would even receive him. So no, I'm not religious, because religion is not from God. Christ came to destroy the temple and rebuild it in 3 days. That's actually why he was slaughtered as the lamb and gave his life on the cross. That's the purpose. That's the symbolic meaning behind it, my love. And that people could reach that Christ consciousness. All right, babe? Is that clear? Yeah? Thank you, user 150. I just want to let you know, whilst your pastors were focusing on teething and living the high life, buying their private jets, blowing out the backs of women, just being thieves, God was just training up his army, his chosen ones, in silent and in secret, below ground. And so what's happened now is, it's like, y'all didn't see us coming, but we knew we were coming, because God had been preparing us for years. Whilst you lot are doing that, I was researching, deconstructing, going into psychology, philosophy. Like I'm, you know, they're just no match for me. And then on top of that, I'm not indoctrinated. So my amygdala brain, my prefrontal, everything is working. It's really sharp. It's sharper than before. I also don't have regurgitated slurs and tones, so I can go outside of the parameters of the information control that's been set within the cult. So anyone in the cult, they can't converse with me. There can be no dialogue, because they don't know how to converse with anybody. because they just want to speak at you, get you to come into the cult. That's it. They can't have a real conversation. They're so mentally damaged. Their brain isn't even working properly. Their brain is just all rewired and their neurosystem's effed up. It's so sad when you're in there. You don't know where you're coming or going. You're just a mess. That's why any of them that come on and sit down, I think to myself, baby, you're severely indoctrinated. Like, what have you got to... They all just need to stop preaching and just focus on their lives, like their real lives, their unalive marriage. Like, let's talk about the real stuff. Like, stop. They're so fake. Do you know what, guys? I just think people should do whatever they want. Because it's so discouraging when I turn on my screen and I'm bloody well seeing, like, these mogs and whatever, and they're just talking human fecal, man. Like, it's like I sit down and I spend so many hours doing this content. And it's not about views and it's not about likes, and the work that I'm doing is different because it's just about that one person coming forward, which happens, which is what I need, and then I expose it, yeah. But it is disheartening. That makes me feel like, oh my God, I've got this quality content. I've like been researching for years, I've been doing it, and then this idiot can come and sit on there and be like, and then there's like 1,000 likes. I'm just like, what? Because what you need to understand is people who don't even know what the hell this guy's talking about, just because they go to one of these wacky backy spaces, they'll be following and like him. So what it does is these spaces expose you to like, just craziness. So when you get exposed to like these false, like demonic doctrines, yeah, you will see it normal to go to one of these backdoor village places and spaces of worship on top of the Chinese at Woolwich and Plumstead Station. You know when it's that bad. That's what I'm saying. Like, because of the false doctrine and all they want to do is thief our money, they open us up to a lot of like demonic stuff. The thing is, when you leave, none of that can touch you. When you leave, none of that can touch you, guys. That's why I've been deconstructing your psyches, because it's all about the brain. So once they've colonized your brain, once they've got power over your brain, they are the master of your mind, body, and soul. Right? So when you're in that reality, because your reality becomes distorted, remember, in your psyche, you are believing that that environment is normal. And you are believing, remember, you're believing in demons, you're believing in the devil, you're believing in bad luck. You're believing it, you're believing in your life is, you're being led and governed by fear and paranoia and psychosis, all right? So they indoctrinate us in a way to keep us like in this trap. And also they open us up to a lot of demonic stuff because it becomes real. It's not real, but it becomes real because they program us to believe it's real. Because I just believe this whole thing's assimilation, and I'm starting to move into like alchemy now. So I reckon once I start getting into like the hidden truths of that and whatever, I think I will start to understand. But do you know what? One thing I will say is there's definitely like wisdom in the writings of Solomon. Because, you know, he says that everything is vanity. Was that Solomon or is that Ecclesiastes? But did he write that? Who wrote Ecclesiastes? That's another scripture that they bang for. There is a time and a season. Do you not remember that one? A time to sow, a time to reap, a time to make love, or there's a certain way they say it, and then a time to refrain, a time to embrace, a time to refrain from embracing. It makes me feel sick. I can feel it all in my sacral. I can feel it all in my sacral. You know, the sacral is a part of the spiritual anatomy. When you look at the chakras, where all of the childhood trauma is supposed to be stored and everything. So the consciousness is the mind of Christ, bitch. It's not. That's all it is. You are a human being, though. So you have a consciousness, right? Because this physical body that we see, this is in the 3D. But you have a consciousness. You have a spirit, just like Christ. Yeah, consciousness. It's Christ consciousness. If you lot knew more about Christ consciousness instead of the sinner's prayer, then a lot of more people wouldn't be so wacky backy. Because that's literally why he did up what he did up. so that we could reach that level of consciousness, and people don't even know it. They call it demonic, whatever. And I'm not talking about the new age concept of Christ consciousness. I'm talking about what it means for me within, and how I've conceptualized that, and how that has become real in my belief system. So I don't know about the new age concept. I haven't read anything into Christ consciousness to do with the new ageism. This is something that I've drawn from within self. It's been as a result of looking at the work around identity, personality, all of Carl Jung's collective, all his work on consciousness, all of that work, all of the psychology around the psyche, collective consciousness, shadow trauma, all of that. It started off with me deconstructing, trying to deconstruct the shadow trauma and the shadow self, so those traumas could rise up to the level surface. It's like that iceberg. So I'm then, all of the stuff from the bottom is unearthed, and I can see it rising to the top. So I can address all of my trauma that is a direct effect of my behavior. So I'm angry, I'm this, I'm that. I've got all of this frustration. So as I started to attune myself with the consciousness of Christ, which is the mind of Christ, and when you're in a personal relationship with Christ, what do you think that's about? That's about connecting to the consciousness of Christ, okay? They've lied to you in there. You don't have no relationship with Christ. You've got a relationship with Jesus, the Roman God that they created after the Nicaea Creed. Yeah, and Constantine and all the whitey, greedy Roman men that thought that they were gods, that sat around the red table and manipulated the canon. All right, my love, does that answer your question, troll? I don't know why y'all come on to ask questions, because it just makes it when you ask me these questions, you're trying to catch me out, but you can't do that because I hear directly from God. It's direct communication, instant downloads. So what happens is, when God is speaking to me, even I know the question sideways, because I'm feeling the energy and the vibe, because you're just a bum, and I'm feeling that dusty energy permeating through the screen. Are you somewhere in Ghana, in a village somewhere? Have you got enough internet? Because it's always, the devout ones from there coming in and talking human fecal matter. Oh, thanks, Ivy. Like you too, babe. We're all enlightened, aren't we? That's why we're all on here, really. God has opened our eyes, or yourself. If you're an atheist, then self has opened. Listen, baby. I'd rather sit down, speak to an atheist, not marry. I'm not getting married. Go on holiday, do whatever with an atheist over one of these religious people any day of the week, because they drive me mad. Could you imagine being with a religious person on holiday, or even being locked? Imagine being stuck in a lift with a religious person. Oh my God. I would have to say to them, sorry, can you just be on mute? I don't want to converse with you. Sorry. I don't want to have any conversation. Could you imagine being stuck with a religious person in the lift? Oh my God. I should I'm going to put out some content saying, if you were stuck with a religious person in a lift, what would you do? Because literally, what would you do? I'd rather be stuck in the lift with an atheist. Do you know what I mean? Because atheists have deconstructed, so they're not delusional. Do you know what I mean? They won't be trying to indoctrinate me or whatever. I think that we'd get really interesting, like a lot of depth of conversation. Do you know what I'm saying? Because atheists, they deconstruct about everything and anything to do about everything. So I do like to have conversations with atheists. I just put up my boundaries and tell them that I don't want them to talk about Jesus Christ, and I think that's fine, because you don't need to talk about Jesus. You get what I'm saying? You can talk about everything else but Jesus Christ. And then that's fine, because I just don't want to hear it. I get aggressive in it. It's not even like, oh, free will or whatever. I just get aggressive, and I don't want to get aggressive with you. I don't want to get defensive. So let's just not talk about Christ. But anything else, they've got really good knowledge on it. Okay. Because I don't want to hear about, this and that, and Jesus wasn't real, didn't walk the earth, and I'm sorry, babe. I just don't want to hear that. Do you know what I mean? And maybe people will say, oh, this is a double standard, but mina block like you. Because when it comes to Jesus, baby, it just is what it is. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. Do you see how RADICAL I am about Christ? And this is 18 years later, with deconstructed and do all of this. Yeah. So this is what I'm saying. Like, when they have this mindset and there's no like personal morals, beliefs, values, sister, all of this, their mental health's not okay. It just, like, guys, there's this woman, seen her online, and she's in like, this is like a really bad case of religious psychosis. I looked at her page and I thought about it, and I said, I just can't expose it. but she is like unless God changes my mind, I don't know. And she's the energy that's coming out of the screen is just, it's just crazy. Like, and all her videos are like zero, you know, like she doesn't have any views on them. It's crazy. She's just in there. And you know, like she's got this weird hairstyle, you know, like when they go into that and they might do their makeup or eyebrows and stuff different, you know, there's like the science behind that with like when you're having a mental health breakdown. So she's got like, her hair's like up in a bun, and then she's got like half of it out, and then it's like the back she's done so it's almost, it's given like very like I don't know how to explain it. I'm trying to go into artwork now. You know, there's the different types of art. Like what would Picasso's art be described as? Do you not know? Is it abstract? Do you know what I'm talking about? You know, when the art is like, oh, it's not symmetrical, it's like asymmetrical, and it's all like that, and it's abstract. Okay. Oh my God, I want to let's give ourselves a clap for that. Huge. Let's give ourselves a clap for that. Come on. Because that is showing expansive knowledge. But do you see what I mean? If we look at the work of Picasso and we going into abstract art now, her hair was given that. Do you know what I'm saying? And also a lot of these artists were battling a lot of mental health. Do you know what I mean? And like, I think it did Van Gogh, like bed rot or whatever. A lot of artists and creatives, we have like so much going on in the head. And the beauty is that we get to share this creativity and beautiful art and whatever with the world, but we don't always, there's always a lot of sad stories, like either, you know, unalive and guys, I know you might think, oh Lee, I don't want to hear about this, is really doom and gloom, but I need you guys to understand that this is a real world that we're living in, and we've got to talk about real stuff, because these are the dark shadows. And I don't know why people are so afraid of these conversations, especially like unalivement and stuff as well, because you know, we need to embrace death, because it's a cycle of life. Oh my God, as I said that, guys, one magpie just, oh God, you know, they're my favorite birds, just flew up. It's just all a sign. Oh, and I love nature. I love birds. And that's why I remember when that guy used to come on and be like, Leah, your favorite dinosaur? And I used to be like, birds. Because my daughter told me that birds are the only dinosaurs that are left, innit? All right, let me give you one more. I'm gonna go and have, well, it's lunch at this point. I'm gonna go and eat something. And look, guys, I did my hair a bit more as well. I curled my hair. I woke up and I tried to have like a little bit of just like do a little bit of self-love, because I've been feeling so unwell. Look, and guys, you know what? I'm gonna do this tutorial, because if you not like how I've done the curls, yeah, I didn't do it this time because I was like, let me see if it works first before I'm trying to do up tutorials. What I did was I didn't curl my hair straight away, yeah, but I braided. I've done it in like 4 braids, yeah. So you know, you could like, it makes the expressions look a bit more human hairy, because what I don't like doing is cutting my ends. I like them to just be natural. So, but I noticed that they started looking straggly. So what I did was I braided the hair like into 4s, yeah, and then I put, you know, the curlers on the ends, and then I dipped it in the you know, with the hot water, and then I took it out. And then what I do now, instead of curling the whole hair, because I just think that's too much, and I was going for, you know, Zoe Kravitz. So what I did was, after I did that bit, I then took like, you know, all my individual curls, because some of them because some of it is like, you know, like the expressions hair, and then some of it is the hair that I've added, because a Cara survivor. So some of it is expressions, like this is, yeah, this is the curly hair, and some of it is expressions. So after I braided that and then I put the curling ones in it, what I did after that, guys, yeah, was I just curled, you know, like individual bits, so it wasn't like too much. So if you lot are you not feeling the curls? Because I've managed to get the expressions to look more humany. Do you get it, bitch? I said, I wish I'd done the tutorial now, man. But when I do it up next, I'll do it, yes, I can show you lot. Guys, I've definitely got ADHD in it. How did I go from, what was I even bloody talking about? Then I just started talking about my hair. Anyway, I know that you guys are all neurodivergent, so I know you love it. I know you guys are always having about, look at this. I know you guys are always having about 1 million conversations at once. All right. So what I'm gonna do is just finish off this bit, and then when I come back, we'll get back into it: the sociology, the group dynamics, the neuroscience and physiology, and then we're gonna get into the metaphysics. Yeah. All right. So coercive control. No. Leaders encourage members to treat spiritual practice as the answer for every need. This quiets critical thinking and redirects distress into approved religious forms. I know something ain't right with me. Keep on moving. Don't stop like the hands of time. Keep on moving on. Keep on moving. That's their name. Don't stop. Yeah, we're all Dilali here, babe. This is your tribe. You know, if I think we're mainly group sevens here, lit, sexy, handsome, intelligent. We just the SHIT, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, we are lit, baby. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, this is where it's at. And we you know, we embrace it. Do you know what I mean? If you hear voices, I'm talking to myself all the time. I talk to myself so much that when I'm in the supermarket, I just be talking to myself and people are looking at me. I don't care. Because how else am I going to do the shopping, babe? How else am I going to remember what I need? I'll literally be there like, yeah, I got the cheese. Oh no, but should I get the sliced cheese or should I get the mature? Actually, I don't know. Oh, I'm not sure. Cause you know, but I'm not blow clock here. Karen Wheeler, I remember that song. Ooh, do you, girl? Soul to soul, yeah. Keep on moving on. When I saw your name, I was like, yeah, that's what it's given. All right. So again, guys, they just think that it's like, because you need to get approval. You need to ask permission. It's just hell in there. Like, there's so much like around the coercive control and the learned dependency techniques. So again, they do the isolation, the love bombing to make you feel special. And all of the survivors, they all say the same thing. They all love bombed us in the beginning. Love bombing is really dangerous. That's why it's being made like it's a criminal offense now, isn't it? So it blood clot should be. Do you know what I mean? Like, because they did up the love bombing. Love bombing. Is it a crime? Yes. Is it a crime? Yeah, it's a crime. That's why we need to get matriarchy back in, because if we had matriarchy, like all of these eating from the great bowls, the love bombing, the coercive control, all of them would be in jail. And that's where they need to be. And then, but we wouldn't have them in jail like suffering. We would have them in jail to rehabilitate them back into society. Do you know what I mean? With the like their feminine wounded energy healed. Do you get what I'm saying? Like a balance, like that yin and yang, like that balanced masc and femme energy with them. That's what I'd like to do. Just put them all in a facility, and just get it right. Just get everything balanced. But unfortunately, we've got a lot of enablers, pick Mishas and Barbara the Builders, a lot of washed up 304s, turnt wogs, who enable these type of guys. So some of them will never wake up. So all of this produces dependence on the group. When the group teaches that bodily needs are secondary, members internalize it. Academic work applies coercive control frameworks directly to cults. Yeah, I can sing, baby. Identity fusion and social reward. There are intense group rituals. And through the intense group rituals, it's like they will give you rewards. So I was speaking to a survivor yesterday, and she was saying that back in the day, they still do it now, but more so back in the day, they used to like keep like certain women for like men. So these like dusty bummy guys who would never get a girl like that. Like, so for example, a girl like me would be marrying like some guy who's broke, he ain't got nothing. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like the pastor's given me as a gift to the guy. That's how they would talk about women, okay? Because I think Dag's quite draconian, you know, in his psyche. Remember I said to you, he's got like his own kingdom in the compound in Ghana and stuff, and it really is giving Game of Thrones when you're in there. You know what I mean? So they see the women as like their property and ownership, like cattle, like meat. It's disgusting, really. Very barbaric. So barbaric. They're just barbarians in there. And you can tell in the way they do up the shadow, you know, all of that, all of the way that they conduct the service. It's absolutely barbaric. That's what it is. It's animalistic. It's like the way that they behave in these settings. It's like we've regressed. It's like we've regressed back to the Stone Age when we were really animalistic, didn't really understand the brain, how we functioned. We didn't have language. We didn't talk. It's like they bring your brain back to like the Stone Age, the animal kingdom, when we were closer to animals than human beings ourselves. And that's on period, point blank. So these intense group rituals, like speaking in tongues, events, and claims of special spiritual status, produce emotional fusion with group identity. Yeah. Doing spiritual acts earns praise, status, and belonging. And this is a strong group reinforcer that encourages continued neglect of bodily needs, neglect of kids, your home, yourself. Have you seen how the gal them looking there? Why do I look better than you and I'm going to be 40? You're 23, babe. Why are you 20? Okay. Why are y'all 23, 24, 25, in your 20s looking the way you do with the mindset that you have? And I'm almost 40. Why? And this is what I'm saying. They'll age you in there. And a lot of the mogs and stuff, they're preds like Pa, Austin in RPF. So they want the women to like look as least attractive as possible because they can't control themselves. And on that note, I'm gonna go. So I love you. I've given you no attention. I've given you no, because you lot from Dag's Cult are just dusty. Bye, TikTok. I'll be back soon. Yeah, put your notifications on. You're a bitch. That's what you are. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, you're a bitch and you're dusty and you're a fool. So I just like, especially the guys from Ghana, you're extra desperate because you worship women like me. Because you see me as the Oyimbo. You see me as the Obroni. So you worship women like me. So I don't put no respect on you lot's name. You're a bunch of idiots. You lot are laves out there. So you need to deconstruct from being a lave before you come and have some chat for me. All right, you little bitch.